presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
Tales of near mystical fortune grow larger by the day in Anaheim. Impossible ninth-inning deficits have vanished in back-to-back games as the Angels snatched away dreams of victory from their opponents. Tonight, the Rangers look to overthrow the Halos and exercise some demons of their own. Welcome in, Rangers baseball presented by AT&T. Lots of sunshine, a beautiful evening here in Southern California. It's a new day in Anaheim, and that means another chance for the Rangers to try to get back on track. We're ready for the middle game of this three-game series. The Rangers and the Angels from the Big A in Anaheim. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. Look, there's been a little bit of magic in this ballpark lately for the Anaheim Angels. Last night, another really kind of historic comeback for them.
It's been pretty incredible to watch what the Angels have done and coming back late after being behind big, and that always is the sign of character for a team. First, we saw it on Sunday against the Seattle Mariners, down by 6 runs. Ultimately, the walk-offs hit by Pennington in the 9th, and then unfortunately for the Rangers, last night down 5-2 in the 9th, and then it ends up being a walk-off safety squeeze in the 10th by catcher Carlos Perez. Like we said, for the Angels, nice wins for them, but certainly not anything the Rangers want to see tonight.
No, indeed. And if things are going to change for the Rangers, because that was not their first taste of disappointment late in ball games, it's going to have to come from the back of the bullpen. Things have been a little rugged back there.
They have been recently, and part of that is Sam Dyson, who has been struggling. 11 runs allowed now on the season. And some bad news that we learned today. Matt Bush, who's kind of like that closer in waiting, or at least potentially that next big arm, is going to miss a little bit of time. He's got to get a shot in his shoulder. We will not see him this series. Hopefully we will see him in Seattle over the weekend. Now, good things happening right now with the starting rotation. Even though the losses are there, in those 5 losses, they're getting deep in the game. And the ERA for these guys during that time, 3.45 has been pretty good.
All right, speaking of the rotation, tonight, A.J. Griffin's turn. It's a place he's very comfortable with. The Southern California kid back home to face the Angels. AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keep calm to learn more. By Budweiser, not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. And by Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, just about set to go here tonight. A.J. Griffin, his battery mate, heading out from the bullpen and just about ready to go. Middle game of this 3-game series. And if he's going to be successful tonight, we've seen it, and you know it coming into any series, CJ, you got to take care of these two guys.
Without a doubt, one of the toughest middle of the lineups in the game, especially because they are both right-handed. Very difficult back-to-back. Mike Trout and Albert Pujols, but as we saw with Cole Hamels, A.J. Griffin has done a pretty good job against these guys.
Well, Angels taking the field, and they will endeavor to slow down this man, Elvis Andrus, off to a great start here in April. Done some of his best work in his career against the Angels. Set to go. Middle game at our 3-game series and our Southwest starting lineup today for the Rangers. Now 2 wins, 5 losses. Carlos Gomez continues to lock down that leadoff spot. Elvis Andrus drops to 7th in the order today. As you can see, he's been on a tear going back to last year with the extra base hits yesterday, a double and a home run. He continues to be very productive in his first week and change of the regular season. And Jurickson Profar today getting the start in left field, still looking for his first hit of the season. Jesse Chavez will have the mound for the Angels. And he fires one just off the plate for a ball.
See the numbers there for Jesse Chavez, what he did in his last start. Now, he hasn't started in a couple years. This is a guy who has gone back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen, but since coming over here now to the Angels this year, a member of the rotation.
33 years old. Not a real big guy, 6'2", 175 pounds in his 2-0 pitch. That's low. He's gone 3-0 to Carlos Gomez.
And a guy that Jeff Bannister is really familiar with, because Jesse Chavez, of course, came up through the Pittsburgh Pirates system, got to the big leagues 2008 and 2009 when Jeff Bannister was a member of that coaching staff, big league coaching staff.
That one off the plate, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Carlos Gomez. So real good start here tonight for the Rangers.
Designated hitter, number 17, Shin-Soo Choo.
Take a look now at the Angels defense and what they'll be throwing out there. Mike Trout, of course, in center field, made a big catch last night. Borderline maybe robbing a home run, pretty close, but nevertheless a big spot there. And C.J. Cron now going to be out at first base. First time we're seeing him in this series. Maldonado behind the plate. There's Mike Trout.
Showing off a little bit last night. Shin-Soo Choo, and he's offering at strike 1. Choo hitting .238 coming into play tonight.
It's interesting for Mike Trout. He said that he thought that ball was gone off the bat. Kind of died a little bit on him, so he just kept tracking it. Timed it perfect. He made a really nice play.
Well, it certainly looked and sounded like it when it left the bat. You get to the later portions of the evening here in Southern California, and it gets a little cooler. That air gets a little heavier, and balls die out in the outfield.
Are we close enough to the water to call that marine layer, or are we too far? How's your meteorology?
I don't know. that might be a stretch.
Appreciate your honesty.
High strike at the count 0-2 on Chu.
I'll tell you what, too. Carlos Gomez, by the way, real quick, probably has to be very happy with that at bat. Rough night for him last night with the 4 strikeouts, and we've seen him be very aggressive. So to lead off this game with a 4-pitch walk, certainly an encouraging sign for him.
Yesterday was much more aggressive to start the game. Today simply took the 4 pitches. He is always a threat to run. Chavez with a long hold, and that one a little tight. Gomez has attempted 1 steal this year, but was unsuccessful. Last year, of course, had the real up and down season, but managed to steal 13 with the Astros, 5 more with the Rangers at the end of the year. And Chu has had enough waiting.
By the way, we saw that kind of fake back pick from Martin Maldonado. He's already done that 3 times this year, and it's very early in the season. That is tied for the most in Major League Baseball as far as aggressive catchers trying to back pick at first base.
Continued attention there on Gomez. Meanwhile, Chu, been a bit of a struggle offensively for him, although the on-base percentage for Chu at .360 coming into today. So he has found his way on. 1-2 pitch, bouncer, first base. That one gloved cleanly to second for 1, and the relay from Simmons in time for a nifty 3-6-3 double play.
C.J. Cron did a very nice job here. This is not an easy turn for a right-handed thrower. Watch how he turns in. A lot of guys will try to take a step and create a throwing lane, but he was confident enough to go ahead and make that throw. You can kind of see the angle here. Sometimes you get a first baseman that'll be a little bit hesitant, worried about hitting the runner in the back, but C.J. Cron did not hesitate and made a perfect throw to Andrelton Simmons.
So some defense early for the Angels. That erases the leadoff walk, and now here's Nomar Mazara. Nomar third now in the American League, the .414 batting average. Offers at the first pitch, and a pop-up near third base. Escobar is there, and that completes a very quiet top of the first for Jesse Chavez. The top of the first. Now the Angels at 6-2 and sitting atop the West Division. Today they'll go with Yunel Escobar leading it off, and man, leads the league in hits. Batting average at .455. He's doing everything right. Trout and Pujols, the trouble in the middle of the order. Andrelton Simmons is having another big year offensively. Coming off a career year last year for him. And then you've got Danny Espinosa with some pop at the bottom of the order. And all of that against A.J. Griffin.
And A.J. Griffin in this rotation, you see the no decision against the A's, his former team. Probably a little bit of emotion for him in that start. He's got a pretty big task ahead of him with this Angels lineup right now, especially what we talked about a little bit earlier, managing the middle of that lineup with some good right-handed hitters.
Well, and part of the success when you're playing the Angels, keep these first guys off the bases. Escobar going the opposite way, deep to right field, and Mazzara back there to make the play, one away.
This one came off the bat pretty loud, but a very nice job by Nomar Mazzara. Tracks that ball near the track. A.J. Griffin certainly happy to get that first out after it was a little bit loud. Good approach here by Escobar, not trying to do too much. Driving the ball the other way. Watch Nomar, he actually came in a little bit first. Ball carried maybe a little bit more than he expected, but nevertheless, he'll take the out. Does a nice job getting it done.
So one away, and huge. I think always really big to keep Escobar off the bases, and now Calhoun fouls off strike one.
Absolutely, the way that he has been swinging the bat so far this year, and taking a look at A.J. Griffin, trying to keep an eye on what are you looking for tonight. Even though A.J. does not throw particularly hard, it is important for him to elevate his fastball once in a while in the strike zone, change eye levels for guys, so that when he does throw that breaking ball, the curveball that he uses quite a bit, it can get a little bit more swings and misses on it. Right? In order to do that, though, you got to kind of entice guys a little bit with that high fastball. So his ability to elevate will be a big part of his success tonight.
That works right there. The count, no balls and 2 strikes on Calhoun. AJ, we mentioned a Southern California kid. Grew up in the San Diego area, 29 years old now. 2-strike pitch. And that one a little low. AJ, earlier today, talking with him back at the hotel, he said a lot of family and friends here today, of course, is always the case when the team comes to Southern California. Keeps the guy busy. Count stays 1-2.
Yeah, there's the good and the bad. It's great to come home. It's great to pitch in the ballpark. Whatever a fan of a team that you grew up with, coming back home and being able to do those things are all a lot of fun. The downside is phone rings a lot of text messages, a lot of ticket requests, and especially when you're starting over that series, it can be a little bit overwhelming sometime when you're trying to stay focused on your job.
Back to Calhoun, and this one hit down the right field line. That'll drop in. Base hit into the right field corner. Calhoun scrambling for second, will wisely hold. He thought about it for a moment, but he'll hold up with a 1-out double.
This is off a slow breaking ball to Cole Calhoun, and you see it there, and one that sat a little bit more in the middle of the plate. Cole Calhoun does just enough to stay back. He was a little bit out front, but he kept those hands back as we see Nomar Mazzara kick that ball around a little bit, and I think that's what caused Cole Calhoun to at least think about maybe potentially taking the extra base, but he makes the wise decision to hold up in second.
So a man in scoring position, and now to the 2 big guys. Mike Trout being first among them. Those 8 RBIs, 4th most in the American League. And Albert Pujols would be next. Already A.J. Griffin tested here in the first inning. Trout takes one right down the middle for a strike. Of the 2, and he has done a good job of handling Trout and Pujols in his career, but of the 2, Trout has slightly better numbers against A.J. Griffin. He'll foul this one back out of play. Trout 5 for 19 against A.J. with a couple of home runs.
This is a good test here. You have a runner in scoring position, 0-2 count, way ahead of Mike Trout. It's not always just about this at-bat, but thinking about other at-bats throughout the game and setting him up. So let's see what A.J. decides to do as he throws that fastball in at 88 miles an hour, but it has effect, right? Up under the hands, move Mike Trout a little bit, try to open up the outside part of the plate. Now, a lot of times with A.J., we'll see him come back with that slower breaking ball down and away. That finishes just a ball trying to get Mike Trout on a swing and miss.
This one ripped down the third baseline foul.
It's either a changeup or a cutter that didn't cut at 83 miles an hour. That's the one thing, Mike Trout, you're just not going to get away with many mistakes. You kind of say, all right, little deep breath, caught a break. That one went foul. You see the numbers there with runners in scoring position. He's 326 RBIs at 25 years old.
Yikes. And he's got Calhoun at second. This one a little high, 2-2. All right, so he's trying to come in a little bit. He's elevated, as you mentioned earlier, would be a key to him having some success today. So what would you expect now if you're Mike Trout?
Well, it's interesting, because he's throwing that high fastball. We talked about this last night. That is a hole for Mike Trout. Doesn't have very many. So AJ has to decide whether he's going to double up or try to go away with the break.
And he gets him swinging. Strike three.
You see Mike Trout shaking his head because AJ did either one of those things. Ended up throwing the cutter that was away. Didn't have a ton of movement on it as we take a look here, but just enough to throw him off. Mike Trout just swings right through that pitch. That is a huge strikeout.
So Griffin gets his second out, and a big one indeed, because now here comes Albert Pujols. Albert not off to nearly the start that Trout has gotten off to this year, nor does he have the head-to-head numbers that Trout possesses against AJ Griffin. And that said, Pujols is still that guy. I don't care if you've got him down, I don't know, 1 for 25 in your career. I would suspect you would still have a great deal of respect for him.
There are no great hitters that you get mentally lazy against, even if you've had a ton of success against them.
1-1 the count.
What I like here so far through the Trout and Pujols at bats is that they haven't seen the slow breaking ball. So that's a big victory, at least up to this point, for AJ Griffin, because it's a really nice pitch for him to use to be able to finish at bats, but to be able to strike out Mike Trout without showing that to him, and to be able to get to this point right now with Albert Pujols after a couple of pitches and not showing it just yet.
This one foul back guard direction. 1-2 the count.
Tonight's Rangers defense is delivered to you by Chicken Express, as we see and take a look here what the Rangers are throwing out there. Jurgen Profar out in left field tonight. It was Ryan Rua a night ago, and across the board everything else that we saw as far as the starting defense went. So Profar now will get his opportunity. There's been some struggles in left field. We'll see what he can do tonight.
Griffin to the plate. Called strike three. Wow. So he punches out Trout and Pujols to win the first. Nice beginning. AJ Griffin keeps it a scoreless game as we head to the second inning in Anaheim. All right, nothing doing in the first innings for either team. look at Mike Scioscia, the skipper here in Anaheim. Last night, 10th inning. All right. Well, the Rangers, that one nearly gone off the bat of Mike Napoli. Pounded.
Yeah, some bad breaks here after the game ends up getting tied in the bottom of the ninth. The Rangers come out swinging it, but unfortunately nothing to show for it. And then how does the game end? And this little dribbler of a safety squeeze that Mike Napoli kind of watched to see whether or not it'd go foul, because he knew he had zero chance of getting the runner out of home plate at that point. So bad breaks there for the Rangers in that 10th inning, but came out swinging it well. It's not happening yet, but it'll come.
The game could be, in the way they work, can be so fickle. You just hammer a couple of balls, nothing. And then the Angels just killing you softly.
Well, that's why when we talk about some of the numbers that we talk about, things like exit velocity and launch angle, Rangers did some really good things in that 10th inning. But when you're talking about extra innings, it's more about who gets the breaks.
2-1 to Mike Napoli. We saw the low batting average number for Napoli to start the year, but a home run, 3 RBIs. And he keeps his spot in that cleanup role. He has been there every game. And it's 3-1. Chavez walked Carlos Gomez on 4 pitches in the first inning, and now goes 3-1 to Napoli here in the second. Chavez, another Southern California kid from San Gabriel, California, now resides in Pomona, and a check swing foul makes it a full count on Napoli.
Chavez is one of the few guys that's still playing that I could call a former teammate. Spent some time with him in the minor leagues before he reached the big leagues when he was in the Pirates system. Came through as a reliever, then, as I mentioned, found his way into the rotation. So there's been some back and forth so far for him, but now starting again.
Napoli lifts this one deep out to right field, carrying well, and gone. Opposite way for Mike Napoli, his second home run of the year, and once again the Rangers get on the board first.
A lesson learned for Mike Napoli: if you're going to try to hit a home run, one, don't hit it to center field where Mike Trout is, and don't even make it close. This was a no-doubter off the bat in right field. Cole Calhoun just turned around and looked at it. Didn't even really take much of a step at all toward the wall, but Mike Napoli worked himself into a good count. Fastball ends up being middle away. You see it deep into the right field stands here in Anaheim.
Man, impressive power the other way for Mike Napoli. And as they continue to do, Rangers swinging the bats well in the early innings, get out in front. How about Napoli now? 20 career home runs against the Angels, 46 RBIs. He's hit about 345 lifetime against them. Those are some pretty stout numbers.
It's always fun going up against your former team, right? Especially for him, the one that he came up with, broke in with.
Odor pops this one up into short left field. Revere, I think he might have had trouble picking it up initially. He finally gets to it, one away.
And not even playing against your former team, but having success against them as well. Always feels pretty good when you get to trot around the bases, especially here with the home team on the third base side, rounding third. As you see his 12th career home run as an opponent, get to look over at your manager, right? Say, you buddy, remember me?
That feels good for him. Not so good for him. Mike Scioscia, now what is it, 18 years here. He's pitched to Jonathan Lucroy, who's in there for a strike.
See his pitching coach Charles Nagy next to him, but you think about 18 years in baseball these days, right? So longest tenured manager in the game. There's so much turnover, more than there ever has been at that managerial position.
This one lifted to short right. Calhoun with plenty of time to get in and make the play. 2 gone. Yeah, I would say 18 years as a manager in today's game, you know, absolutely unheard of. He has been the one constant here in Southern California. You think about, you know, long tenured managers in the history of Major League Baseball. Tommy Lasorda, just across town, he went with 21 years with the Dodgers. Bobby Cox, same thing with Atlanta. Those are the guys in that same ballpark. This ball hammered out to left field, and Elvis knew it. Way gone. 2 solo shots in the second inning. And for Elvis Andrus, 3 home runs this year. It's 2-0. Wow, is he swinging it.
He has been locked in. Really go back to September 1st when it comes to power and extra base hits. Elvis Andrus is getting it done and comfortable, and no doubters too. I mean, we saw his reaction right away. You should see him head back to the dugout there with the guys waiting for him with big smiles. But it has been really impressive to watch the comfort level of Elvis Andrus. Look at that, put it down. I know a guy. Listen, that's fun. It's not showing an opponent up by any means. He just squared it up and he knew that he had got it. But really, he has been locked in. Like I said, last year had a really nice year offensively. You talked about it last night, playing through that sports hernia, very impressive. But he hasn't missed a beat since the season ended.
1-0 pitch, and Gallo swings through it. Well, that's a big swing, man. Andrus and Napoli, a couple of solo home runs. Yeah, just like that. 2-1. Gallo's hit a couple of impressive ones already this year.
See Jesse Chavez, after that pitch, walk off behind the mound. You see Martin Maldonado talking to the home plate umpire. There's been some discrepancy on balls and strikes in the calls. Chavez showing some outward emotion as far as what he's seen.
One right back off of him. He'll pick it up and throw his best pitch of the night over to first, inning over.
But what's the best way to make the bad memories from last night go away? Come out and swing the bats. Mike Napoli and Elvis Andrus, 2 big home runs here in the second inning.
Rangers 2-0 lead. Those 2 guys, Elvis Andrus, Mike Napoli with solo home runs, and A.J. Griffin goes right after Andrelton Simmons. I see the major league home run leaders, and the Rangers right there breathing down the necks of the New York Mets.
Yoenis Cespedes, 3 of his own yesterday, swinging the bat very well so far in New York. Interesting to see that 4 of the 5 teams were National League teams, right, in the front. Usually expect to see a couple of more American League teams up there.
Andrelton Simmons off to a very good start in 2017 for the Angels. 2-1 the count. 9th in the league at the moment, hitting .345. Mentioned last night, finished the year with a .281 average, which for him was a career best. We know him to have the best glove work at shortstop in baseball. And it's 2-2, and ooh, he does not like that one. Boy, the Angels continuing to have problems with Stu Sherwater's strike zone.
Well, you know this. You see Mike Scioscia pointing to Jesse Chavez and saying, listen, if you're going to call it for them, you better be calling it for us. And they may have a little bit of a legitimate beat. This ball's on the outside corner down maybe a little bit. Now, it gets amplified because Jesse Chavez was not happy with a couple of pitches in the top of the second inning. And you know this. Mike Scioscia's going to have something to say about it. He works umpires as good as any manager in the big leagues.
Full count now. Sherwater became a major league umpire this year. I mean, he's been a fill-in for a handful of years, but he is a first-year big league umpire on an otherwise very veteran crew. The 3-2 pitch, and that one misses. So Simmons gets the leadoff walk after all here in the second inning.
I'll tell you this, when I was playing, I pretty much had no sympathy at all for umpire. You get it, you have a good relationship with guys, but at the same time, when you're battling in game, you don't care. And then I remember talking to an umpire one time, and he said to me, he goes, CJ goes, I don't remember this. We don't have any home games ever, right? You think about it as a player, you're home at least half the year. He's like, there's no such thing as a home crowd for an umpire, even if it's the town that you're from. Everybody there is against you. They're never going to tell you when you're doing a good job. They're only going to tell you when you're doing a bad job. So that may be a little bit more empathetic for these guys that grind and overall do a very nice job.
Oh, strike to Ben Revere. We're in Anaheim at the Big A. Dave Raymond, CJ Nikowski. Game 2 of our 3-game series. Yesterday, another gut-wrencher for the Rangers, as they gave away a 3-run lead in the 9th and then lost it on a squeeze in the 10th. This one shot the other way, drops in, base hit for Revere. Simmons heading to third, the throw cut off, and it'll be 2 bases for Revere. So Revere's double puts 2 men in scoring position.
Look at Ben Revere just kind of shortening up and trying to be quick to the ball, not trying to do too much, just dump that ball into left field. We know he's a good runner. Jurickson Profar saw Andrews and Simmons hustling around second, tried to get that throw in as quickly as possible without setting his feet, but he didn't have any chance of throwing out Andrews and Simmons.
So a couple of base runners now for Anaheim. C.J. Cron batting 7th for the Angels. Brings a .316 average into play today. Still looking for his first RBI of the regular season. And he's in a hole 0-1.
One of the last CJs of baseball. Pretty important to carry that legacy on. C.J. Wilson shut it down this past year.
What are the prospects coming up? There's got to be a couple.
Well, we had a
of
little bit of an
way.
issue with Carl Edwards Jr. from the Cubs, who at one point was a CJ, but he got excommunicated from the club. He decided he did not want to be called CJ anymore.
Check swing by Cron.
A little tidbit for you. Myself and CJ Cron and CJ Wilson, all Christopher Johns.
Is that the common derivation of CJ?
I'm not sure. I don't know
That's
how common it is.
1-1. And this one lifted high in the air left field. Not going to carry. Profar is back. It's deep enough to get Simmons to the plate. Heading to third base, Revere. And the Angels scratch out a run against A.J. Griffin. It's a 2-1 game.
C.J. Cron put a pretty big swing on this ball. Just missed it. Got under it enough. You said to get it deep enough to be able to get the run in. No play anywhere. You weren't going to get Ben Revere at third. You certainly weren't going to get Andrews and Simmons at home. And you see Jurickson Profar there out left. Nothing he could do. Have any chance of throwing anybody out in that spot.
All right, so Danny Espinosa. A dangerous batter in that 8-hole for the Angels. Had 3 hits yesterday, including a big 9th inning home run. Hammers this one out to right field. Handled by Mazzara, but Revere tags. He'll score, and it's 2-2. Back-to-back sac flies for the Angels. Let's see. A.J. Griffin not happy with that. Base is empty now for Martin Maldonado. He takes a high strike. Well, strike right down in the heart of the plate.
Well, not happy, of course, because the Rangers scored 2 with the 2 solo home runs in the top of the second. And to give it right back, but probably most frustrating for him was the leadoff walk, right? Those always come back to haunt you, as that one did. And Ben Revere didn't hit that ball hard. Kind of, unfortunately, you get second and third, nobody out. But what he did well was didn't let it get worse, right? Second and third, nobody out. At least one of those runs is scoring, probably 2. And he did a good job not to make it a big inning.
Tapper down to first. That's a fair ball. Napoli takes care of it, and the inning is over. So Griffin done with his work in the second. We've got a new game. Inning tonight in Anaheim, and some roster moves earlier today. Drew Robinson optioned back to AAA Round Rock. We got a couple of at-bats here, and Nick Martinez recalled today. Let's see what he did Sunday against Nashville. 5 pretty good innings.
He did a nice job. Nick Martinez, kind of insurance, I think, right now in the bullpen. If you need to go early, conserve as a long man. There's some speculation about what's going to happen Saturday, as the Rangers will have to add another starter. Yet for sure if it'll be Andrew Cashner. A lot of people believing that would be the case, but if not, Nick Martinez could certainly serve in that role.
First pitch to Profar, right in there for a strike. Profar leading things off, and then back to the top of the order as we get underway in the third inning. And Cashner threw today, and Jeff Bannister told us earlier this afternoon, going to wait and see how things went. He does have a couple of directions he could go for Saturday's game. Cashner an option, Nick Martinez an option. Here's the 1-1. Profar in a hole 1 and 2. So this was earlier today. Cashner working out in the pin.
Getting a little bit of work in. You think about today being Thursday would be his throw day, trying to lead up until Saturday. So far the reports have all been good. We'll find out soon enough whether or not he's going to make that start.
Strike 3 call. Profar down looking to start the third inning. Well, long term he will be an important cog for this team going forward. So whether they end up using him on Saturday, that's one thing. But ultimately they need Cashner to contribute and to be healthy for the long term.
Without a doubt. It's the reason that they brought him in, to bring some stability to the middle of the rotation. Of course, the Rangers have what they need up top in Yu Darvish and Cole Hamels, but to bring in a little bit more of a veteran presence, have a guy that's kind of been there and done that. That is the role of Andrew Kasher, and health for him. Then down the road, eventually Tyson Ross as well. I'm hoping these are guys that are going to lock down the middle to the back end of the rotation.
Big swing by Gomez. It's 1-1. He walked on 4 pitches in the first. There's Darvish. We're going to look at him tomorrow. Frankly, in a matter of hours. We are right back out here. And another strike called. It's 1-2 now on Gomez.
You mentioned the big swing by Gomez earlier in the first strike. Saw him taking some pretty big hacks yesterday. We talk about his aggressiveness all the time. There's probably in the middle there somewhere for him. You don't want him to give up the power, without a doubt. We know it's there. We saw him with the big home run to start off the season, and you wonder, did the eyes get big? Is he thinking, you know what, power's back? Swing got maybe a little bit bigger. We saw it last night, but at the same time, he's never going to be the guy that's going to choke up and slap the ball to right field.
Chavez just misses. It's 2-2. Some frustration tonight for that right-hander, but he gets a strikeout of Gomez, and there are 2 away in the 3rd inning. Well, get ready for the first Throwback Thursday on April 20th. The Rangers taking on the Kansas City Royals. First 10,000 fans will receive a Papa John's Texas Rangers Throwback Thursday collector pin. Now, on this date only, fans will also receive a replica 1972 Rangers cap. Go to TexasRangers.com, call 972-RANGERS. Either way, love to see you out at the ballpark. So a lot of Rangers fans traveling well at the beginning of this road trip. The first pitch to Chu is in there for a strike. Chavez with a couple of strikeouts gets Chu to bounce this one over to the right side with a shortstop. Simmons picks it up and takes care of Chu to win the inning. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jesse Chavez.
And ready to bat again against A.J. Griffin. And Rangers fans, make sure you download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by Hyundai.
Wait a minute. Hyundai?
That's right. That is correct here in America.
All right, here we go. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 2-2 game, and a big curveball in there for a strike. Top of the order for the Angels in this 3rd inning.
So sorry. So this will be a little interesting to watch. You know, keep an eye on that curveball from A.J. Griffin. He only threw 2 the first time through the order. One of them was to Cole Calhoun double that he hit hard down the right line. He pretty much stayed away from it, and now we've seen him come out, and he did a really nice job of essentially, seems like, saving it for that second time around the order as we see back-to-back curveballs to start off the third inning.
It's 0-2. And this one is turned foul.
Amazing, right? Threw more in this at-bat than he did that entire first inning, which is a really great strategy. It's kind of pitching one-on-one where you're trying to save as a starter, if you can, going to your best off speed. And that was what was so amazing about the fact that he was able to strike out Mike Trout and Albert Pujols without showing them curveballs.
Bouncer up the middle. Andrus is there, and they get him. Boy, tough play again over there at first base for Napoli. Great job corralling that one, and Escobar retired.
This was not an easy play at all for Elvis Andrus, and not an easy pick for Mike Napoli either, as we see Elvis go to his left up the middle with this chopper. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get to this ball. Cuts it off very nicely. That's a very difficult throw to be able to make, right, as he goes across his body and across the diamond. But Mike Napoli was on it. Does a really nice job. We saw them kind of going back and forth last night on a ball that was in the dirt. As you see, Elvis Andrus, as always, smiling on the baseball field. But there was some back and forth between the two of them, and Mike Napoli almost jokingly saying, like, hey, you're going to throw the ball to me, reach me, make me working over here. On back-to-back nights, Mike Napoli has picked up Elvis Andrus.
Calhoun offering the first pitch, sends this one into the seats, foul for strike one. Calhoun had the double in the first inning. Gets the average up over 300 for him. And the Angels, they've been swinging the bats pretty well as a team. Came in with a 293 team batting average in these first 8 games. And that, along with a couple of other things, has pushed them out to a 6-2 start, a game-and-a-half lead in the division over the Houston Astros. And there's a swinging miss. The count 0-2.
It's always a fun curveball to watch. 67 miles an hour, and it's good to see AJ where he's not afraid to throw it again to Cole Calhoun, who hit it hard last time. But look at the shift as Joey Gallo just took another step to his left. Now with 2 strikes, you feel really confident that Cole Calhoun would not think about trying to bunt. But man, there is a lot of room over there with these shifts. Even if he just hit a little bit of a ground ball, a soft one, could turn into a double with the way that he runs.
There you see it, all that room on the left side of the diamond. If I'm Calhoun, left-handed hitter, and you start seeing that enough times, I would think I would really work on bunting. 1-2 the count. And I know that a lot of managers would say, well, I win. If he bunts, I win because I've made him adjust his game.
But he's not he's not all about the power, right?
No,
He's got
I know,
pop without a
it.
doubt. So I look at him a little bit differently than I would, say, a Brian McCann or other guys, pull power guys when David Ortiz was still playing.
Yeah, I mean, he does have power. He can run into one. But to me, especially when you have him batting where they have him tonight, which is in the 2-hole. Look, if I'm Mike Scioscia, all I care about are runners on base ahead of Trout and Pujols. That's it.
Without a doubt.
That really simplifies the equation for me. So I certainly wouldn't be afraid to have him bunt. And he takes strike 3. Third strikeout tonight for A.J. Griffin. And we have our first Chevy game break of the night. Checking in with John Radigan. Yeah, thanks, John. A 2-2 game here. Mike Trout steps in with nobody on base. Look at that. Boy, when he makes contact, there's some thunder in that bat. It's this one down the right side and heading foul out of play. 1-1 the count.
You saw that cutter again. That one a little bit more down, but that was the pitch that A.J. Griffin finished Mike Trout on back in the first inning with the runner in scoring position, right? There was a runner on second, and Calhoun got the big strikeout, and it was the cutter, so that could be the go-to pitch tonight for AJ against Mike Trout. There it is again.
Yeah, 2-1. Trout, the guy you have to contain. That's tight.
He is, but he's also, I think, that guy that you identify. You got nobody on right now and 2 outs, but you identify as the guy that you're not going to let beat you either. The problem is, Albert Pujols sits right behind him.
Hits this ball well to center field. Gomez going back, and it is gone. Well, third of the year for Mike Trout, and the Angels have their first lead of the night.
Now listen, there's no getting around it. This guy is some kind of special player when he's in a favorable count. Got a chance to do some damage, and that pitch was down. We talk about it. He is such a good low ball hitter, but it's so opposite of what you're taught as a pitcher, right? You're down on the count. Okay, let me get a good 2-seam fastball down and try to get a ground ball. But the problem is, Mike Trout's power comes from pitches down. It's where he does his most damage, and it's just so opposite of so many right-handed hitters.
3-2 Angels. And Griffin's 1-0. This ball hit well down the left field line by Pujols. And it is just foul. Steve, right one.
Put it down as a long strike. It came off the bat pretty well. That ball actually died a little bit. Like I said, he sounded louder than it was. Albert thought he might have got it, and then all of a sudden that ball started fading and dying at the same time. So I don't think it had this. It was pretty close. That might have just hooked a little bit, but he first hit it a little bit deeper.
So break for AJ Griffin, the 1-1. That's ball 2. He has done a good job against Pujols in his career. You can see Pujols a slow start this year, but that's 6 for 13 lately, and there have been some big hits in those spots. 2-2.
That's a good changeup from AJ Griffin in a fastball count. Get Albert Pujols aggressive and swinging, especially after the long foul home run.
This ball hit well center field. Gomez ranging back at the wall, and that will end the inning. Yep, missed it. Mike Trout didn't though. A home run gives the Angels the 1-run lead. We go to the 4th inning. Mazzara, Napoli, Odor coming up. Look at that. That traffic's moving. I'm not sure they have the right city.
Brutal around here. No two ways about it. It happens.
No doubt. Our TXU Energy Power player to watch tonight, Nomar Mazara. 8 career games in this ballpark, including the first ever. And he's done a real nice job. Safely in 7 of 8. Popped up back in the first inning and takes a strike here in the 4th.
It's been a lot of fun to watch Nomar so far this season. Seeing what he has taken from a year ago and trying to get better, right? A lot of people look at last year and say, it's a pretty good rookie season. I'm good where I am. No, Nomar's been trying to get better and learning the lessons from the success and the failure that he has had, some of the things that he saw. And you see a guy who's a lot more patient, more selective, and continues to use the entire field as well.
Waits on an 0-2. Takes it low. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. 3rd in the American League with a .414 average and leads the American League with 9 RBIs. So it's been a very good start. Chavez trying to get him to take the bait away.
Maldonado worked hard to try to get that call. That wasn't close.
No.
Pitchers do a really nice job of those borderline pitches. Now more than ever, we pay very close attention to it. Jonathan Lucroy is excellent. Turn that borderline strike or one that's just off the plate into a strike to the umpire, but not that one.
Full count now.
It's like the old Little League play. Like, you can't take a ball that's a foot outside and move your glove back to the middle of the plate. You might see it on the Little League World Series, but not here. It's got to be the ones that right on the edges. There's a lot of artistry that goes into making those pitches look like strikes.
Time asked for and granted by Surewater. I think it was Maldonado who was asking for time. Had to check that wrist guard. Make sure he got the right scouting report. The 3-2 pitch. Ooh, borderline strike. Wow. Mazara down looking to start the 4th inning. Brings up Mike Napoli now. Napoli got the scoring started tonight. He was leading off the 2nd inning.
He crushes this fastball, and it really wasn't a bad one by Jesse Chavez. It was far enough away, a little bit up, but not good enough to get by Mike Napoli. Crushes that ball to right field.
Napoli's 2nd home run of the year. And Chavez comes in very high with ball 1. Look at those numbers. Began his career here. Now has come through quite a few times now as a visitor. And he has done damage in this ballpark. One. Chavez, who was really upset and very vocal in the early innings, now suddenly getting some of these borderline calls.
And I think that's fair. And a lot of times if you handle it right, you may be able to buy yourself a couple of extra close calls later. And that is the reality of the situation, especially, listen, we saw Maldonado say something to the home plate umpire. We saw Jesse Chavez get a little bit upset. We saw Mike Scioscia mention something as well. And you can work some umpires, especially guys that are a little bit less experienced.
2-2 pitch. This ball hit well. Out to right center. Trout on the run. Makes it look routine. 2 away. Hey, Fox Sports Supports proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved as a volunteer or participant at the upcoming Girls on the Run 5K in your area by visiting foxsportssupports.com. Well, with 2 outs and the bases empty, gets Rougned Odor to the plate. And he continues to find his way on base, but the average has dropped below 270 coming into play tonight. Hitless in his last 9 at-bats. Fouls this one off with the count 0-2. Now don't look now, but Chavez has retired 6 in a row, and 8 of the last 9 he has faced. The only Man, he did not get in that stretch was Elvis Andrus, who hit his 3rd home run of the year.
And despite the fact that he's allowed the 2 long balls and some pretty hard contact as well, he's moving along. He's been pretty efficient. So you see the pitch count of 48 here through 3 2/3.
It's 0-2. Doors hacking up there, stays alive. That's the middle game of a 3-game series. At the very beginning of what will be a long road trip. 3 here in Anaheim, 3 in Seattle, 3 in Oakland. So the Rangers in the division for a while and playing some big games on the road. Just a little bit wide. It's 1-2.
And now you don't see the arguments as much, right? If this was back in that 2nd inning, you would have saw the frustration kind of continue to boil over for Jesse Chavez. But there's been some calls that he's probably gotten that have been a little bit closer. And that helps him to kind of manage those emotions a little bit better.
Odor bouncer to 3rd base. Right there for Escobar. And the inning is over. And that's 8 straight. Turned back now by Jesse Chavez. Fourth inning. Rangers take on the Kansas City Royals Saturday, April 22nd, a 7:05 game. Fire up the grill. First 15,000 fans, 14 and older, treated to a Rangers barbecue die-cut spatula, courtesy of Lynx. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. We're calling 972-Rangers.
I got a question for you on
Go
that
ahead.
spatula. Is that a bottle opener on the back end of it?
Yes, it is.
It is?
I mean, I have one of those with a different logo, a Nebraska Cornhusker logo, and it is a bottle opener on the back end of that. Yeah, there you
Pretty
go.
well played. Do it all in one shot. You don't have to go anywhere. Flip your burger, open your Coca-Cola, and off you go.
It's the Swiss Army knife of the 21st century. Andrelton Simmons walked to open the second inning and ahead here 2-0. Hits this one out towards center field. Gomez charging in, and he makes that waist-high grab. One away in the fourth inning. Now you look back at the way things have gone so far tonight, and for me, it was that walk to Simmons in the second inning that was one of the real key plays.
Without a doubt. Leadoff walks are always, mostly are going to come back and haunt you, especially after A.J. did such a nice job of finishing off the first with the Trout and the Pujols strikeouts. But it was the walk, and Ben Revere coming up, of course, just slapping that ball to left field. Also, you have second and third and nobody out. As you see Ben Revere there now trying to make something happen with the bunt, use those legs to his advantage. But no, you're absolutely right. And it was been a little bit of an issue. Now, that's what A.J.'s only walk tonight. It's hard to get on him one walk through 3 1/3. He's done a good job. That has been a little bit of an issue at times for the Rangers. We talked about it in the open, how in the 5 losses, the numbers that the starters have put up, and the ERA has been good, but the walks haven't been great. There's 17 walks in that time, so the strikeout to walk ratio especially because of two of the ones that we saw earlier was 11 walks right through the first two games. Been a little bit of a hole in that regard from the starting rotation, but not something for me that's overly alarming.
And it's also, it just happens to be one of those things that AJ has always done real well is limit the walks. He likes, look, I mean, he's the classic pitch to contact kind of guy.
Without a doubt. And listen, 1 every 3 innings, it's going to put you right near league average, right? 3 per 9.
I think in some ways it frustrated him as much as any play tonight. Pitch just a little bit in on Revere. It's 1-2.
You know, AJ over the course of his career has been better than that. Right? 2.7 per 9 is a fantastic rate for a starting pitcher.
Well, Tapper back toward Griffin. That's a tough play. Handles it nicely. Gets Revere. 2 gone.
Every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. Weekdays from 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central, only on FS1.
Two away here, bottom of the 4th inning.
A little interesting note here on C.J. Cron. How about this? In 2015, 20 of his 51 RBIs all came against the Texas Rangers.
That's absurd.
20 of 51. So when I hear that and I read that, I'm thinking, I got to watch to see what the other teams are doing, because they're doing something right.
That puts this ball into left field for a base hit. He had a sacrifice fly in the 2nd inning, so this year 100% of his RBIs been against the Rangers.
So we're going in the wrong direction here. He does a nice job here on this ball. A little bit up in the zone there. That's a nice looking swing though from C.J. Cron, who really is kind of at a crossroads for me. Not a crossroads, that might be a little bit strong, but a year ago, I think here for the Angels, trying to figure out exactly who he was, how he fit into this lineup. Could they look at him as an everyday player? And he had a pretty good year last year. He hit 278 with the 16 home runs, and I think he kind of proved that he's, without a doubt, has some value here, getting him in the lineup pretty consistently.
Well, here's Danny Espinosa, who picked up his 9th RBI with a sac fly in the 2nd inning. Already a bigger April this year than he had last year with the Washington Nationals. Espinosa yesterday was a big player in the late innings. 3-hit game for him, the home run in the 9th inning. It really helped solidify things defensively for the Angels up the middle. There's a shortstop with the Nationals. Now their everyday second baseman here. And he hits this ball high in the air out into short right field. Mazzara coming in, Odor going out. It will be Mazzara who takes care of it. And so the inning is over. Angels leave another man. We'll go to the 5th inning tonight. It's a 1-run game. The fifth inning tonight, and taking a look at our progressive upcoming schedule. We'll wrap this thing up tomorrow. Coverage tomorrow beginning at 2 o'clock Central Time on Fox Sports Southwest. Locally here, that is a 12:35 start, an early one tomorrow. Then 3 up in Seattle. We'll head to Oakland for a 3-game series beginning Monday night of next week. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. Emily Jones under the weather. We hope she feels better. Hopefully we'll have her back with us tomorrow. As Jesse Chavez comes right in there for a strike to Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy, Elvis Andrus, and Joey Gallo here in the 5th. Just off the plate, 1-1 the count. Lucroy with that fly ball out in the 2nd inning. 0 for 1, but yesterday had some good swings, including a 2-run homer in the 3rd. And it's 2-1.
There's that slider from Jesse Chavez, in a pitch that he has used a lot tonight. The approach here for the Texas Rangers when he throws that one below the zone, listen, kind of hitting one-on-one, but to try to stay away from it. It's a pitch he's used a lot tonight. The idea of getting guys to chase is part of the goal there for Chavez.
2-2 the count. He is settled in. He gave up the home run to Napoli in the 2nd. Andrews got him in the 2nd inning as well, but has really maintained his composure well. I saw flashes of frustration early with the strike zone, but it's 2-2. And it's a full count.
Trying to make him work a little bit the way Jonathan Lucroy is in this at bat, trying to get that pitch count up a little bit. The idea of getting him out of the game. Starts to get locked in like this. Rangers hitters, especially the leadoff hitter of the inning, trying to disrupt that rhythm that he's in right now.
Chavez has retired 7 in a row. His 3-2 pitch, and that is ball 4. So he puts Lucroy on for free. Now our AT&T high-speed replay. Let's go all the way back to the 2nd inning. This is Elvis Andrus. He knew it.
Yeah, he did. And not only a big home run, but somewhat historic here for Elvis Andrus. The first time he has ever homered in consecutive games. The only other shortstop in Texas Rangers history to homer 3 times over the team's first 8 games was Alex Rodriguez. Did it back in 2003. So Elvis Andrus joining some pretty big company with the long ball here early in the season.
So this one foul for a strike. So anyway, that A-Rod, what year was that?
2003. 3 home runs.
Yeah, that was a big year, though.
First 8 games.
And he had a lot of big years around then, but that was nearly a 50 home run season, right?
Yeah, was here for that, at least for the beginning. Make it very long, but did see those first 8 and a couple more after that. And that was that.
Shot up the middle, and that one off the glove of Espinosa and into center field. Lucroy stops at 2nd. Andrus with his 2nd hit of the night. Man, he has found the stroke offensively.
Locked in, seeing the ball well, swinging it well. Credit Jonathan Lucroy. Did a really nice job running the bases here. He had to freeze as Maldonado wanted that pitch up, and it wasn't up nearly high enough. The way that Elvis Andrus is swinging the bat right now, you make a mistake in the strike zone, he's going to be on it. He was. But watch Jonathan Lucroy, the right of your screen, does a good job of freezing. Just in case that ball is caught, he's not going to get doubled up. That is the language that you use all the time. Less than 2 outs. Freeze on a line drive. Make sure you see the ball get through. And he did it perfectly.
2 men on, nobody out for Joey Gallo, and Chavez wants a moment. Maldonado will talk things over here. This might be a really good spot for that big fella. Gallo hit one back to the mound in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. Yesterday walked, and otherwise was 0 for 3. And he has the ability to play every day. He's in the lineup at 3rd base for each of now these first 8 games, and well, he looks a lot more comfortable, and he hammers this one into right field. Base hit. Good start at 2nd base for Lucroy. He'll get to the plate easily. Andrus on his heels. He'll score before the throw, and into 3rd base with a triple. Joey Gallo drives in 2, and the Rangers back in front.
Well, you said it right on time, Dave, that Joey Gallo has looked locked in, swinging the bat pretty well. And we see him come out now with the second career triple of his very young career, but gets a pitch to handle and crushes it down the line. And also great jumps here on the base pass. That was Andrews. Does a really nice job. LaCroix scores very easily. This one looked like it had a chance to be a little bit closer as Elvis kind of pulled up, but does a nice job. But Joey Gallo, great job all the way around by the Rangers this inning, running the bases. Zero hesitation around second base. When you hit the ball to right field, that play is in front of you. But once you can't see the ball anymore, you pick up your third base coach. You trust him. There was no hesitation. Really nice job by Joey.
And now Profar with the corners in. Jurickson still hitless in this early part of the season, 0 for 9. And Gallo, and it'll be said more than once, but for a guy of his stature, he does run well. Very athletic guy. It's 2-0 on Profar.
The Angels are electing to play only the corners in right now, so the middle is back. And so for Jurickson, Profar, you mentioned being hitless and wanting to get on the board, but with nobody out, Joey Gallo at third base, a ground ball up the middle will get that run in, and that'll be a successful at bat.
Still nobody out in the inning. And it's 3-0. So Chavez, just when we thought he might be getting into a bit of a groove, really good at bat by Jonathan Lucroy. He worked a walk. And then bang, bang. Andrews, base hit, Gallo a triple. And Chavez a little wobbly here. There's the strike. It's 3-1.
Well, we saw with A.J. Griffin back in the second inning, the leadoff walk ultimately led to 2 runs, and now here we are seeing it. Jesse Chavez, there's only been 2 walks in this game, right? But it's been leading off an inning. They both have caused some trouble.
Jose Alvarez loosening up, and there's a smash by first. That's a base hit for Profar. Gallo scores. Profar's going to have to hustle back, and he just gets in ahead of the throw. Wow. They may review this one. Mike Scioscia, I think, has his guys checking the tape back in the clubhouse.
Not quite reminiscent of the WBC, but I think that's kind of where your memory goes, at least as far as recently with Jurickson Profar, as he got off a little bit too far here on this play. But you're right, he smoked the ball, unable to be fielded. He took a big turn in trying to be aggressive, and I don't know why he would even take that big turn, because there was zero chance he was going to second base. We'll see. Hard to tell right there.
I think he was in.
Looks like he was in, and also wanted to let the umpire know that he was in.
Well, just good to see him get that first hit of the season. That's the first most important part of it. A nice big smile for Profar. Third hit in the inning for the Rangers. They have scored 3 and pushed that lead back to 2 runs.
To lefty Alvarez up in the bullpen, you have to believe for Jesse Chavez this could be his last hitter. You think about Chu and Mazzara are due up next. He'll be running short on time.
So here's Carlos Gomez. 0 for 1 with a walk. And he'll foul this one back our way. Just a couple of booths to our right.
A booth that is completely empty right now. So there is a baseball that has that booth all to itself.
Somebody's got to go get that thing.
Not it.
1 strike pitch, and Gomez shoots this one to center. Trout there. 1 away.
Designated hitter, number 17.
And that will do it. Chavez will be done, as they will come get the baseball from him. 3 runs in the inning. Profar still at first. Scioscia says that's enough. He's going to go to the pen here in the 5th inning. Yeah, some fans all the way from Arlington celebrating a birthday today, 5 years old. Man, there you go. Happy birthday. Now Sunday, April 23rd, Bluebell Ice Cream Sunday. Ice cream for just $1 for youngsters 13 and under. It still qualifies. Come see your Rangers take on the Kansas City Royals. Like tickets for April 23rd, go to texasrangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. I guess today must have been your birthday. I saw you piling that.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dave.
Pretty high over there.
I treated myself today.
Yeah.
And yesterday.
Well, is it?
A little brownie on the bottom with some soft serve ice cream.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah. Look like a broadcaster in no time.
All right. Jose Alvarez coming on here in the 5th inning with only 1 out, and Profar at first for the Rangers. 5-3 Rangers lead. Just as it looked like Jesse Chavez was settling in, he's knocked out.
Credit to Rangers bats. They did a really nice job in thinking about second time around for the bottom half of the order. Jonathan Lucroy, Elvis Andrus, who's been swinging it regardless, swinging it well. Those guys did a really nice job of getting the pitch count up, getting guys on base, and getting Chavez out of the game.
1 strike pitch from Alvarez. And it is 1-1. Chu today 0 for 2. Lefty on lefty here. The Angels don't have many options in that regard. And Chu turns it foul. The count 1-2.
Yeah, and Alvarez is not necessarily your prototypical lefty on lefty guy where he's got the dominant lefty numbers. You go back to the beginning of 2016, including this year as well. 278 batting average against. The on base percentage is up over 300 versus left-handed hitters. And the strikeouts are there, 22 strikeouts to 6 walks, but he's allowed some hits. He hasn't exactly dominated lefties, but you mentioned the only one right now that the Angels have out there is their best option.
Well, he was a very common option last year for Mike Scioscia. Used him 64 times out of the pen, most on the team. And he runs one just off the plate. It's 2-2. Well, Alvarez becomes a pretty important piece for the Angels bullpen. Look, they've gotten off to a great start, 6-2. But their starting pitching has left a little to be desired. They have lived on some good relief pitching and some late inning magic offensively. It's a full count now to Chu.
And generally would say, well, that's not a good formula to win, right? How are you going to do it if your starting pitching is suspect? Garrett Richards dealing with an injury right now. He really is kind of the lead dog when he is healthy. He is their ace for me. But at the same time, saw the Kansas City Royals a couple of years ago win exactly that way, where starting pitching was weaker, good offense, but a great bullpen. Now it's going to take a great bullpen to try to win if you don't have a great or strong starting rotation.
Profar with a good lead. The 3-2 pitch, and that one turned foul again as well. It stays 3-2. Our Kubota Power Stats today brought to you by Kubota. Well, how about this bullpen? A 5-0 record. Now, some of that is that they've had some magical walk-off wins, but they've done a really good job of keeping those inherited base runners from scoring.
And that's a big part of what happens in the bullpen. Guys that can come in and put out fires, whether it means swing and miss or getting those ground balls with guys on base, double plays, whatever it takes to end an inning when the pitcher in front of you struggles.
Chu hits it to an impossible spot out there to short left field, and it drops in. Profar with some good base running gets all the way to third. And Chu will take a gift single to keep the rally going in this 5th inning.
Even with the shift on, I'm not sure anybody would have been able to get to this ball, but because there was the shift, nobody had a chance. Now, Shin-Soo Choo got jammed really bad on the fastball that was supposed to be away that finished in. But you see, even where Escobar came from, he is essentially in the shortstop position. A third baseman's not going to catch that pop-up, and based on where Escobar started, he's probably where Simmons would have been if they were playing straight up. And Simmons obviously faster, maybe had a chance at making a great play, but I don't even know if I can credit the shift on that. That's just a well-placed ball, unintentionally by Shin-Soo Choo, but he'll take it.
So a great spot here for Mazzara. Rangers have already plated 3 runs in the inning. Left-hander Alvarez misses with ball 1. Mazara 0 for 2. He's popped up and struck out looking. The American League Player of the Week, that was announced on Monday. Well, Tapper back to the mound, and Alvarez could barely get a hold of it. Is sort of first in time. Wow. Couldn't quite find the combination on that one for a moment.
There's a little bit of a panic there from Alvarez, and I don't know if it was because he's trying to field this ball quickly and thinking about trying to turn 2. And that's exactly the case. He started looking at second before he had a good grip on that ball. You watch it here, almost tried to catch it on the run. A lot of times you almost anticipate a guy throwing that ball away with a little bit of panic, but he recovers and at least gets us out at first base.
Well, there is our first intentional walk of the year right there.
I was like, what's going on?
Yeah,
I was completely thrown off why Mike Napoli was standing on first base. I will tell you, you'll hear me say this a lot this year, I hate this rule. I get where baseball is trying to go and say we're going to pick up the pace of play, but you got Jose Alvarez on the ropes. A perfect example. You make him throw 4 pitches out of the zone, right? It takes you out of your rhythm. And so now he doesn't have to do that anymore. The last pitch he threw was to Nomar Mazara, made a good pitch to a lefty. You make him lob, throw 4 balls out of the zone, and now have to come back and get Rougned Odor with the bases loaded. It's harder. There's no doubt about it that it is more difficult. So I just not a fan of it. Not for the 30 to 40 seconds that are saved.
Well, Odor takes a ball. 1-0 the count. So they've got the left-hander in there. He gave up the single to Chu, got Mazara to bounce back to the mound, intentionally walked the right-handed hitting Napoli, and now likely the last batter he will face regardless of the outcome. Bases loaded. And this ball hit well down the right field line, but foul. 1-1 on Odor, who today is hitless in 2 tries. Another successful glove. Is that the birthday boy?
I don't know. Could be.
Might be the guy who he had the sign. All I know is he's got a big smile on the baseball. Way to go. 2-1 to Rougned Odor.
Hey, listen, front row seats.
That's the guy. That's
and
the
a baseball
kid.
on your birthday. Seeing your team play will put a smile on your face every single time.
Yeah, this was earlier. There he is.
Great work, Dave. It's one of us is paying attention.
And by the way, good luck, Mom, in coming up with another birthday as good as this one. Bouncer in the dirt, and they're going to throw back to second. What in the world? Looking at Chu off the base. That's a high-risk play.
No doubt.
With the bases loaded.
I mentioned it earlier. Maldonado is known to be very aggressive with back picking. He's done it to first. He's done it to second base. Not afraid. Anderson Simmons, an aggressive defender. That's probably a play that where they have a hand signal with each other. Keep an eye on it. If it's close, go ahead and make the throw. I'll be there. But I'm with you. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Probably not the right time unless you know you have a guy dead at second base. Otherwise, don't make that throw.
3-1. And it's a full count.
I'd be curious what Mike Scioscia thinks of it, right? We know how much he controls what happens behind the plate, being a former catcher, the running game, everything that goes into what Mike Scioscia does as a manager. I wonder how much he really likes that play.
Well, that expression, we've seen that a lot over the years.
It's hard to read whether or not he likes it.
Doesn't tell you much.
Be a good poker player.
Profar is at third. Chu at second. Napoli at first.
There you go. 23 back picks since the start of last year.
3-2, and Odor down swinging. Rangers leave him loaded in the 5th inning, but they pick up 3 runs. Happy birthday, youngster. Rangers lead by 2. on top 5-3. And hey, here's our showstopper tonight, all the way out to Miami. Giancarlo Stanton. It's a launch angle on that one.
Love the reaction from Jaime Garcia right there on that pitch. And there are a handful of guys that it is fun to watch them hit home runs. Stanton is one of them, always hitting them a long way. Tremendous power.
Yeah, you have to in that ballpark too, by the way. That is a spacious center field in particular. As we get going here in the bottom of the fifth inning, Martin Maldonado 0 for 1 tonight. A.J. Griffin now working with a lead. And it's 0-2.
Second opportunity here now for A.J. Griffin, right, to hold down the lead. Rangers spotted him a couple of runs. Gave those back right away. As you get a little bit deeper into the game, it becomes that much more important for him to be able to shut down the Angels, especially this part of the order.
Well, he strikes out Maldonado. 1 away in the fifth inning. But you get the tidbits, the statistical notes, and they'll carve up a game any which way you can imagine. Just take another look at the strikeout. Maldonado didn't get off a good swing.
No, that's a slow breaking ball, but also with a lot of break. It's not rolling in there. It actually has good depth to it, good bite, which is not an easy thing to do with that velocity, but AJ executes well in a 2-strike count on that slow curveball.
How about this number for AJ Griffin? It's 30 career starts where he's gotten 4 or more runs of support. He's 25-0.
Wow.
In those 30 starts. 25-0 if you give him 4 runs or better, and he's got 5 tonight.
It's really impressive when you think about a guy who's pitched in the American League, right? There's good offenses, strong offenses, pitching in this division a bunch as well. 4 runs is a good amount. It's not a ton of runs. It's a good amount for a start, but you certainly would expect to take a couple of losses in those situations.
Fly ball out to Gomez. 2 gone. Time for us to take a Chevy game break as we send it back to John Radigan. Yeah, thanks, John. A.J. Griffin pitching well here tonight, working with a 2-run lead. Bottom of the fifth inning, Cole Calhoun, the batter. Calhoun today 1 for 2. He doubled back in the first inning, struck out looking in the third. Is Gallo up just a little tighter at third base than he was earlier?
Could be a couple of steps. Yeah, it looked like he was a little bit further last time, deeper. And so my guess why they're doing that, if they want to, at least until you get to a 2-strike count, is even though the shift is on, you still protect against the bunt a little bit, having him a little bit closer to the grass.
Bouncer to the right side. Odor with a bobble and does not have time to recover. An error on Rougned Odor. And the Angels get a man on the head of Mike Trout.
Now, certainly not ideal when you have 2 outs and have Mike Trout sitting there on deck, but you saw Elvis going for this ball at first, but obviously this is definitely Odor's ball. Tries to get it on the backhand high pick, and it just kind of catches him on the heel of the glove and bounces out.
Well, a particularly tough error because it gets Trout to the plate with a man on base. Trout, who homered in the third inning. Trout, his 3rd home run of the year. This one off the handle. Foul ground. Napoli. Inning over. So nothing doing with the error. Angels leave another man. We go to the 6th. Rangers lead. The Sonic Slam inning brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Today's jackpot is worth $800 plus dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. Today the Rangers are hitting for Craig Lamont Keener from Missouri City. If the Texas Ranger hits a home run during this inning, he will win $800. But if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, well then Craig will win $25,000. Jonathan Lucroy will lead it off. Blake Parker has come in relief for the Angels.
You see the numbers there for Parker early on in the season. Already pitched 4 times for this bullpen, as you mentioned earlier. Has done a really nice job, but mostly a fastball that you'll see averaging around 94 miles an hour, but also a split finger. Which is a pitch we don't see a ton of that he uses about 27% of the time.
First offering off the plate for a ball to Jonathan Lucroy. Did you ever use the the fork ball, the split finger,
Not
whatever?
full. I did kind of a tweener, what they would call a fosh, and kind of a changeup that was in between a split and a fork ball, but not the true split finger. You don't see a lot of real true split fingers.
2-0.
Guys like Uehara, where he's got the really good split. A lot of guys will do more of the hybrid where you kind of get caught in between. Now, a lot of the data that we use is all from what the cameras pick up and algorithms and spin rates, and they classify the pitches that way. I don't know if Parker goes full split or if it's kind of that in between, almost like, remember Tim Lincecum had that in between changeup split with good depth.
Fouled away in the count 2-1. Maybe we'll get another look at that because that was a pretty good shot of his grip a moment ago. Although I don't know if that's just sort of his show me.
That's a full split. You see how wide his fingers are right there? And for guys that throw one, they almost always have to start with it already in their hands. It just becomes so difficult to try to, if you're holding a fastball, then go to that split grip where you really have to dig in on it. It's pretty difficult to do without giving it away.
This one fouled back. So what do? You start every time in that split?
Yep.
So then once you go into the glove, if you are going to change, that's where you do the change back to something normal?
So much easier to go, say, from that kind of grip or your curveball grip or whatever pitch is the most difficult one to grip that requires the most movement in your hand. It's much easier just to slip to the fastball. And now if he doesn't do anything, he still wants to move his hand a little bit. You don't want to give it away where you're perfectly still all the time with that split grip, because then a hitter would know that the split finger was coming.
Fastball called, strike 3, and Lucroy down looking to start the 6th.
Lucroy gives a look back at the home plate umpire because of how late that call was made, and Jeff Bannister the same thing. Now this pitch was probably a strike. It was close. You know what? I take that back. That ball's down, and it was a late call on top of it. So the combination of those two things is not going to sit well with Jonathan Lucroy or with Jeff Bannister. You see the reaction now. Lucroy does a really good job of not saying anything that's going to get his pitcher in trouble. It's the one thing for catchers. Generally, they don't have the room to argue as much because they have to work with that umpire throughout the entire game, and you don't want things to be contentious.
There's a heater in there for a strike to Andrews. Well, they say that like communication is 70% nonverbal, in which case that was loud and clear. I heard it.
Just to look back a little bit, not too much though.
One strike pitch. That'll leave it up 1-1 on Elvis Andrews. Another great night for him. It's funny, earlier we were noting Trout just popped up in the bottom of the 5th inning, and I said, he has 3 home runs now, which ties him with Elvis Andrews. The 1-1. Anderson a hole now.
That was a great job by AJ. Right? You think about the error, Rugen Odor. We're talking about bringing up now Mike Trout with the runner on base, and it's 1 pitch and 1 out. A really well executed fastball in quickly. Everything goes away, and probably nobody more happy than Rugi in that situation. Who probably felt a little bad knowing that AJ had a little bit more work to do.
One ball, 2 strikes, a count on Andrews. No time called. Now, Brian Hagan, one of the great stats guys you run across in baseball, working with us in this series, and handed down a note with some numbers for Elvis in his career against various opponents. We know he does great damage against the Indians, and he's put up some numbers against the Angels. 1-2. Tapper, third base side. Playable for Escobar. Just in time. 2 away. Hey, a Coca-Cola family pack offers savings of over 30% on tickets, food, kids zone access, souvenir programs, and Coke soft drinks. A family pack is an ideal way to catch the Rangers when they play the Minnesota Twins April 24th through the 26th. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials to get your Coca-Cola family pack today. Yeah, even if you're celebrating a birthday party. Come on out and see us. 2 gone here in the 6th. That'll bring up Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo with a big hit last inning. They wanted up on him. He didn't like the way that one looked.
That's the advantage of throwing the high fastball. Looks so good, especially to your power hitters like Joey Gallo with the big swings. And there's a margin for error in there. I was talking to Jeff Bannister about that high fastball, because if it's just above the zone, yes, it looks really good, but it also gets on you quicker and it's a lot harder to get to. But you miss by even just a couple of inches down, and now all of a sudden you're in Joey Gallo or any power hitters kind of power zone where they mostly like the ball.
1-1 to Gallo. Had to finish the point a moment ago on the note that Brian handed down to us. Against the Angels, Elvis, 175 hits in his career. 175 hits against one opponent. That's the most against any one team that he has faced in his career. 314 average against the Angels. Now he's got more startling numbers against Cleveland, but just not as many of them, about half the number of games. That's weird. He's carrying on a conversation in the dugout.
See anybody around him? It might be a one-way conversation.
2-1. And it's a called strike. Yep. Boucher's like, oh yeah, just turn around every 30 seconds or so. Let him know you know he's there.
See him talking about the split finger and kind of what he sees coming out of Parker's hand.
Gallo waits, and it's a full count. Nothing good at bat. Triple his last time up, drove in a couple of runs, 1 for 2 tonight.
Trino's had enough.
Trino says, no, I'm out of here.
4 or 5 seconds in, didn't take very long.
Gallo down on strikes, and that ends the inning. And for Blake Parker, a perfect top of the 6th. We go to the last of the 6th inning. Rangers by 2.
On to a 5-3 lead, and let's give you your Jimmy John's delivery of the game. How about A.J. Griffin back in the first inning? Had a little bit of trouble with the runner on second base, trying to go through the middle of the order against Mike Trout on a cutter up and away, and then surprise, surprise, fastball down the middle to Albert Pujols and catches him looking in a big spot. Nice job by A.J. Griffin back in the first inning.
That pitching well tonight. Giving up the 3 runs. He's got 5 runs of support, as we mentioned earlier. That's typically a very good sign for him. Now, this figures to be a pretty important inning for him. Pujols, Simmons, Ben Revere.
The Pujols reaction to that fastball. And that one might have been just below the zone, but Jonathan Lucroy did a really nice job of giving the home plate umpire a good look at that fastball down.
And not only that, but he owed Lucroy one after his at-bat last inning.
And again, that's why, as a catcher in that situation, you don't argue with the umpire, and you certainly don't make a scene.
Roller to short. Andrews taking a lot of time. Almost ran that all the way to first. Takes care of Pujols. 1 away. All right, time for the 4-game summary tonight. Rangers with a 2-run lead. Solo homers. Napoli and Andrews. That was in the second inning. Gallo with a big 2-run triple in the 5th. And there's something about that hit, to me, that really changed the feel of this game.
Joey Gallo there, without a doubt, nice at bat. Listen, he did a good job. The last split he saw that he struck out on was pretty tough. It's a tough one for any left-handed hitter. I think he's doing an excellent job so far recognizing pitches. I think it looks a lot better, looks a lot more comfortable, and the steady playing time, of course, is always going to be a huge benefit. He's done a really good job.
Couldn't hold it up. Simmons in a hole 0-2.
66 miles per hour. Andrew Simmons did not agree with the swing, but it really is amazing because A.J. Griffin does not slow his arm down when he throws that pitch. It's not an easy thing to do, to be able to get that much differential on your fastball to your curveball without giving it away.
Pop up again. Right side of the diamond. 2 gone. When he's pitching well, for me, he's the kind of guy I enjoy watching as much, if not more, than anyone.
Sure. I agree, because you get the power pitchers. There's a lot of them. Put you Darvish in that category, Noah Syndergaard, right? The guys, they're racking up the strikeouts, and it's fun to watch them. It's, they're dominating. AJ's a little bit different in the way that he pitches. He has to be crafty. And when you see him flipping in, slow breaking ball in there, and using a full repertoire, and moving around the zone as much as he does, it's, it's artistry, man. It is fun to watch, especially in today's power game. His personality matches it too, Pat.
It sure does.
It really is amazing that he's a nice guy, jovial guy. Seems like he's always in a good mood, always saying hello regardless of what might be going on, and kind of speaks to the way that he carries himself during the game and how he pitches.
I love days when he does pitch like today down at the clubhouse, man. He's quick to strike up the conversations with the media when we walk in. Bouncer to Andrus, and it's a 1-2-3 6th inning for A.J. Griffin, and he's cruising here in the middle innings.
5-3 with the Rangers leading as we see A.J. Griffin getting the hugs and the handshakes. A very nice outing from him. And Rangers fans, make sure you get $10 upper seat reserved box seats most Tuesdays all season long, courtesy of Fox Sports Southwest. You can also add a $10 meal to your seats when you buy online. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials and use coupon code FSSW10 to reserve your $10 seats today. Hugs all around. Really nice job by A.J. Griffin. Bounced back very nicely, was handed that 2-run lead and gave it back, but after the Rangers gave him the lead again, did a very nice job the rest of the way.
Yeah, 10 of the last 12. That's the way you do it. So, 7th inning now. Profar got his first hit of the season his last time up. And Yusmeiro Petit is the new hurler for the Angels.
No damage after that Mike Trout home run in the 3rd inning. Really nice shot.
4th outing for Petit. And it's 0-2. Well, Profar had the great WBC, very good spring training. And then it has been a slow start. Once we got the regular season going, intermittent starts for him. The 1-2 pitch, they wanted to appeal. No, he didn't come close. Scott Berry down there at 3rd. Jeremy Jeffress loosening up. One would guess that we would see him in the bottom of the 7th. And so here we are in a spot today where Jeff Bannister, it'll be interesting to see how he manages the bullpen tonight.
I can tell you, when you're down in the bullpen and things aren't going well, closer struggles, maybe you're missing some guys from injuries, whatever it may be, you would like that 6 or 7 or 8 run lead, but it rarely works out that way. You're going to be tested game in and game out. And so now for the Texas Rangers bullpen, as Profar goes down on strikes, they're going to get tested again. That's just the way it goes in this game. And so they're handed a 2-run lead, clean innings in the 7th, and redemption is coming. These guys are going to get it together. They're going to do well, and they'll get that opportunity to make it happen tonight.
One away, back to the top of the order now for Carlos Gomez. That ball hit a ton by Carlos Gomez and long gone. The Gomez ambushes Petit, his 2nd home run of the year, and it adds to that Ranger lead.
And he knew it off the bat, and the reaction was great from Carlos Gomez. We talked about this, the struggles yesterday, the 4 strikeouts, just the 9th time he's ever done that in his career, and saying, okay, well, you don't want him to cut down the swing. The power is still there, and this is why. And you see him jump all over this first pitch, go ahead and enjoy it for a second, but then head down. He was cruising around the bases. He wasn't trotting by any means, but that has to feel good for Carlos Gomez when you look over the last couple of games, how things have gone for him. Nice swing, giving the Rangers an extra lead, and actually the extra run. As I mentioned about the bullpen, you're sitting down there. Thank you. May I have another?
Yes,
kind of
indeed.
add on a little bit would be nice here. If those guys are being honest, that's what they tell you.
3rd home run of the night. Now Chu. 1-1 the count. So the Rangers continuing to pile up home runs. We ran a little something, I think it was yesterday, right, that like 67% of the offense so far has been on home runs, and that number has probably gone up. Today, all 3 homers solo shots. Yeah, 2nd time this year the Rangers have posted 3 homers in the game. This is just the 8th game of the season. Pop foul and heading into the seats. So that's 16 home runs now in almost 8 games for the Rangers. Yeah, that's impressive.
It is. We'll have to check to see if the Mets hit any today, right? That was the deal. The Mets had 16, I believe, coming into today. But you see the runs per game, and certainly encouraging news for the Texas Rangers. The offense has been very good. Just a matter of kind of getting everything going at the same time before this team gets on a really strong run.
2 down swinging, 2 away here in the 7th inning.
Follow Rangers Baseball Live with MLB.com @BAT mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com @BAT today. It's your #1 app for live baseball.
All right, 2 gone now. And Mazzara hitless in 3 tries so far. This time facing the right-hander, Yusmeiro Petit, 4th pitcher of the night for the Angels. And it's 1-0.
So here in Anaheim, after a strikeout, they go with the Law and Order boom boom, right?
Yep.
That sound.
Right.
Yankee Stadium, the PC Richard whistle. Right, that one or whatever it is. Which one's more annoying for you? I'm going to put you on the spot, buddy.
Yeah. I don't like the Law and Order thing.
You don't?
No.
It's a little dated reference.
A little bit.
They're still in there, but
yeah.
they're down to just one franchise, I believe, right? It's only
you got me.
left, I think.
2-0. Does everybody have a sound effect for the strikeout?
I'm sure they do. Now that I'll be working more games than I usually have done the past couple of years, I'll take notice of it a little bit more. Those are the first 2 that came to mind after the Chu strikeout.
Mazzara walks on 4 pitches and heads down to first. Mike Napoli will step in. Did your playing career begin before or right as all the sound effects and that stuff kind of
right on the fringe? When I first broke in '95, not everybody had walk-up music. A couple of guys, only the stars. Also, cell phones were about $3 a minute if you were going to use yours. I remember like one guy in the team, Ron Gant, had one when I got to Cincinnati. To date yourself a little bit. But no, it started, I'd say probably late 90s, it really started picking up.
Right.
Guys started having their own songs and when they wanted to play all that stuff.
Napoli hits it to center, but not far enough. Trout is there. Inning is over.
How about Carlos Gomez getting back on the board? We saw it opening day with the big home run, but again tonight, his 2nd of the year.
Brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Texas Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Hey, so far so good. That guy pitched a beauty tonight, A.J. Griffin. Rangers gave him some offense. It's a 3-run lead for the Rangers bullpen as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Jeremy Jeffress first man up.
Jeffress will get an opportunity here now in the 7th inning, kind of more of that traditional setup role. Things go smoothly here for the Rangers. They'd love to be able to go kind of 7, 8, 9 and take it out, depending on what happens with the offense the rest of the way. Don't worry about the ERA. You see it there. It's early. Could care less about a reliever's ERA, especially really over the first probably 6 weeks of the season. The innings are just not there. They don't tell the entire story. What matters right now for Jeremy is getting through the 7th inning, handing it off potentially to the next guy, keeping the lead intact.
Well, it gets the bottom of the order in the 7th inning. C.J. Cron takes strike 1. Cron had the sac fly in the 2nd, base hit in the 4th. Good night at the plate for him. Well, it's been a very good start to the season for C.J. Cron. Rangers line up very nearly straight away against him. 1-1 the count.
It's a good miss for Jeffress right there. The one thing to keep an eye on, we know he's got great movement, right? But the right movement, it matters to make sure that it's staying a little bit more vertical and not horizontal. Even though that pitch finished below the zone, that is the movement that he has to have consistently to be the guy that we have seen in the past.
Bouncing ball. Right there for it is Odor. 1 away. Okay, there's no way to get around it. The Angels lately have come up with a magic lately. How about this? The last 2 games they have played here, they have come back from 7 runs down and 3 runs down. In the 9th inning both times. Historically, 2 other teams in the history of the game have done that in back-to-back games. How about the Pirates do it in a doubleheader in 1933? Tigers did it in a series against Kansas City, 1971. The last time, at least 3 runs down in the 9th inning, a team has come back to win in back-to-back nights.
Yeah, and I think not surprising that we haven't seen it in a while, just because of how bullpens are run as well, right? The specialization, the quick turnover, getting guys out of there. So it was impressive, but tonight the Rangers fully intending to put that streak to an end.
One strike on Danny Espinosa. Bottom of the 7th inning. And he fouls that one off. Now you see Victor Rojas, TV play-by-play for the Angels. Former Rangers play-by-play as well. His dad, Cookie Rojas, played in that series in 1971. The Tigers and Kansas City. Second baseman for the Royals. In fact, had a pretty nice series, but had to witness those back-to-back walk-off victories in Detroit. Funny thing about that was the 28th and 29th of July, 71. The day before was the opening day of that series. Also a walk-off win for Detroit.
Really?
They walked off all 3 in that 3-game series. Espinosa down swinging, 2 away.
This is a great finish here by Jeremy Jeffress, taking advantage, one, of the 0-2 count, but also the aggressiveness of Danny Espinosa. You have to know your hitters. Listen, you never want to throw a ball in the zone 0-2 anyway. You're trying to entice a guy into a swing, but you got to be especially careful with your aggressive swingers. He does a really nice job getting ahead and finishing Espinosa off.
Here's Martin Maldonado, 0 for 2. Well, good job so far by Jeffress throwing strikes. How about A.J. Griffin, by the way, had 2 3-ball counts in his start today. And he went to 2 balls on only 5 other occasions. And that's the thing about A.J. Griffin. We talked about it at the top. He goes after a verdict and quickly.
He was very good tonight when it was all said and done. 66% strikes, which is above league average, and compared to what he did a year ago, he's at 63 for the entire season. So did a really nice job, and you dig in a little bit, and it was also with the fastball where he was nearly 75% strike. So even though he doesn't throw particularly hard, does not mean you cannot pitch in the strike zone. He was very aggressive with his fastball tonight.
Jeffers down low, and it's 2-1. 2 gone in the 7th inning. A chance for Jeremy to post a nice clean 7th inning, and that would be a really good tone setter for the rest of the bullpen tonight. A beleaguered Rangers pin in the first 7 games of the regular season. Bouncer at third base. Long throw for Gallo. On the money, and it's a 1-2-3, bottom of the 7th inning for Jeffress. It takes us to the 8th. Rangers on top.
Lead the Angels by a score of 6-3 here in the top of the 8th inning. And Fox Sports Southwest wants you to show your school spirit at a Texas Rangers game. Get discounted tickets for select games throughout the season, and fans will also get a free Rangers cap in school-specific colors. Go to texasrangers.com/U, it's the letter U, days for detail. U days, I'm sorry, U days. That's a little confusing to read, Dave.
It's all right. You handled it well.
Majored in baseball, college, 3 years. Very nice job.
You see profile. You see Jeremy Jeffress right there. Real nice job in that 7th inning.
Now that look right there tells me he may still be in the game. Looks locked in, no hugs. A little bit of action down in the bullpen. Went through 10 pitches in that inning, and it was smooth. Now there's 2 ways to look at it. Say, okay, well, he threw the ball well, sent it back out there. Right, there's been some struggles, or Jeremy Jeffress off to a little bit of a slow start. Do you want him just to go ahead and have that success of a good clean inning, get somebody else in there and try to get everybody else going? We will see, but there is some action down in the Rangers bullpen, so who knows, maybe that might be it for Jeffress.
Of course, it's a night where the Rangers are a little short-handed out there. Petit upstairs, and it's 1-1. So we were told before the ball game, Sam Dyson is down for today. That has nothing to do with what happened last night, unless you look at it from the standpoint of pitches thrown. You know, this last couple of outings have been a lot longer than anybody would have liked, including Sam. And so he had kind of a work day today on the side with Brocale as a fly ball handled by Revere. So you're down to 1 arm right there. Time for a Chevy game break as we check it again with John Radigan. Okay, thanks, John. One out here with the 8th.
And real quick, I forgot the other thing to keep in mind as well with Jeremy Jeffress was that he pitched last night. Right, so 15 pitches last night, only 10 tonight. He's actually, I would guess, probably done.
Here's Lucroy. And he takes strike 1. But we didn't learn till after the game yesterday that Matt Bush was sent back before the game started last night, or the very early stages anyway, sent back to Texas as they were looking at his shoulder, this AC joint. He did get a shot or an injection in there. 0-2 now the count on Lucroy. So with Dyson down, Bush gone, and Bush will be back in a couple of days. They are shorter on arms out there. You see double barrel action at the moment with Alex Claudio and Jose Leclerc going.
Really amazing to think. Go back to, say, spring training with a week to 10 days to go. And ask yourself if you thought Jose Leclerc would be warming up in a game with a 3-run lead in the 8th inning. That's how things have changed here dramatically. Now, partially out of need. But also, a big part of that is that he has done a really nice job and has answered the bell here early on. The most impressive of which has been the fact that he's thrown strikes. Right, that was the one concern with him. He's done a really nice job and has made things a little bit easier here for the Rangers.
Little bloop out to right field. Calhoun coming on into a dive, and he can't quite get it. Lucroy is on a hand grenade out to right field. That's a heck of an effort, though, by Calhoun.
It absolutely was. He gave everything he had here. Jonathan Lucroy luckily didn't hit this ball any harder than he did, because it probably would have turned into an out. But that's full extension by Cole Calhoun. Again, we talked about it. Does a nice job out there in right field. Underrated around the league, playing in the shadows of Mike Trout when you're in the same outfield as him. It's sometimes hard to get the recognition that you deserve, but he gave everything he had on that one, but came up short.
Here's Elvis, 2 for 3, and sends this one high in the air down the left field line. Revere is over. 2 out. All right, our AT&T next game tomorrow will wrap up this series. Coverage beginning at 2 o'clock tomorrow on Fox Sports Southwest. Yu Darvish, Ricky Nolasco, our pitching matchup. Pretty even looking numbers against the respective opponents. Although Rangers put up a pretty robust .320 batting average against Alaska. Joey Gallo 1 for 3 tonight. So we saw Claudio and Leclerc loosening up. Let's just assume that maybe even the two of them ham and egg the 8th inning. And we're looking at probably Tony Barnett. It wasn't explicitly laid out today, but likely Tony Barnett in a save spot in the 9th inning.
He has that experience where he has done it in Japan. We'll see what's left in the bullpen here tonight for the Rangers.
And again, that's with the information that Bush back in Texas and Dyson down today. 2-0. And that's ball 3 to Joey Gallo. Meanwhile, Jeffers hasn't changed his countenance down there in the dugout. My goodness.
He's locked in right now.
Could be he's in a conversation with Elvis Andrus too. 3-0 pitch. And that one is outside. There goes Gallo. Listener.
We mentioned Tony Barnett and the possibility of him filling in. Nothing has been announced, nothing is definite, but it does get the opportunity to close. It was back in 2015 where he put up 41 saves for the Yakult Swallows in Japan during that run, that 6-year run that he had overseas. He had 33 saves back in 2012, but that is the last time. So it's been since 2015 that he was in that role, but he handled it extremely well. That last year in Japan, a 1.29 ERA to go along with those 41 saves. You can say what you want about competition level over there. That is an impressive number to put up for any pitcher.
Two-man aboard for Jurickson Profar. Yeah, how about this? Barnett in his 6 years in Japan, he converted 97 of 110 save chances. That's a pretty good ratio.
He was good. I'll tell you what stuck out to me there, too, for him was the high strikeout rate. It's not an easy thing to do. A lot more contact hitters over there. Yu Darvish, I think, is a perfect example of that. You saw his strikeout rate spike when he got to the States. As good as he was in Japan, come over here, and a lot of times it's a little bit different. It's backwards. But you see some guys struggle when they go against better competition. But in the case of Yu Darvish, the strikeout rate went up significantly. Let's say he was in the 8s over there, up over 11 for his career here in MLB. A lot of that probably has to do with the fact that Tony Barnett uses that cutter a lot. You just don't see it over there. They loved. So when I went over there, my cutter was my 4th pitch. Used it once in a while. It was an okay pitch for me here. Nothing special. Like over there, they loved it. They wanted me to throw it all the time. And it's just because it was a different look and something they didn't see very often.
So far 1 for 3 tonight. He's got Lucroy at second, Gallo at first. Want to add another run here. The pitch on the way is outside, 2-2. 3 home runs tonight for the Rangers. A couple of solo shots in the 2nd, another in the 7th inning. And then they put together a little rally in the 5th, good for 3 runs. That's what knocked Jesse Chavez out of the game. Profar takes ball 3. It's a full count. Petit having to work a little bit. He faced 5 batters in the 7th inning, and this is the 5th batter he's facing here in the 8th inning. Carlos Gomez, who homered his last time up, love to get another shot here. Runners will be going. There they go. 3-2. Roll to second base. Espinosa right there. And it ends the inning. So the Rangers do leave a pair. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Jeffress did his job in the 7th. Let's see how it goes in the bottom of the 8th. Southwest. Yes. Brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. Jeremy Jeffress out for the 8th inning. Interesting. After pitching a very tidy 7th, needing just 10 pitches to get it done, he'll come out to face the top of the order in the 8th.
This will be curious because we saw a couple of relievers warming up in the Ranger bullpen. This could be a batter by batter situation where Jeremy Jeffress will get the leadoff hitter, and then they'll go from there potentially with Calhoun, the lefty, on deck.
He'll go against Yunel Escobar, 0 for 3. And Cole Calhoun and Mike Trout. Yeah. Still Claudio and Leclerc. Rangers playing Escobar straight up, and it's 2-0. Last year, Jeffress was 27 for 28 in save spots with the Brewers. So a guy very familiar with high leverage spots. And he gets a strike call right on the outside corner. It's 2-1 on Escobar. Borderline perhaps, but one he will definitely take. 2-1 pitch, and that one shot foul. So squares the count at 2-2.
See, Escobar has taken a couple of swings from right-handed pitchers we've seen so far in this series where he's comfortable on balls away and he's hit the ball the other way. Now, what I like about Jeremy Jeffress, he stands all the way on the first base side of the rubber. He's got the really good two-seam fastball. So his advantage right here, if he can, I believe, is to run that two-seamer hard in on his hands, because Escobar's looked just a little bit too comfortable to me on fastballs on the outer half of the plate. There they go.
Bouncer, second base. Odor waits for an extra bounce, takes care of Escobar. One away in the 8th inning.
Man, that's the go-to right there. That is so nasty from a right-handed pitcher to a right-handed hitter.
Well, here comes Jeff Bannister. So Jeffress takes care of Yunel Escobar, and Banny heads to the bullpen. We'll see who's up next. Today, and his manager lets him know. Oh, where'd he go?
That's what they want to see when he is on. These are the results that you're going to get. 3 groundouts and a strikeout, right? It's not heavy strikeouts, even though he's got that great movement. It is about getting guys to hit the top half of the ball, keeping it on the ground, and that's exactly what he did in his inning in the 3rd.
So don't miss the Toadies in a post-game concert Saturday, April 29th. Stick around after the Rangers-Angels. That's a 6:15 game for the show, and all of it presented by Budweiser. Head to TexasRangers.com/concerts for your game tickets and information on how you can see the Toadies concert from the field. One of the great Fort Worth bands, the Toadies. And out to Globe Life Park. All right, here we go. Alex Claudio on. Cole Calhoun. You're the first man he has to deal with here. Left-handed hitters, so the left-hander Claudio is on. Shift on the infield with 3 infielders on the right. Oh, 0-1 on Calhoun. So Calhoun batting second today in the top of the order has done a spectacular job for the Angels in this first week of the season. They'll set the table well. This one shot by third. Base hit for Calhoun. He's going to try for two. And he'll get it easily as it's lost out there by Profar. A double for Cole Calhoun. And you just can't let the Angels get any life in these late innings.
No, you definitely don't want them to have it. This is a ball that was supposed to be middle in, ended up finishing out over the plate. You just kind of tip your cap because that's not an easy at bat against Claudio. The way that he comes in, that arm angle against lefties, and Cole Calhoun hung in there and took that opposite field approach and took advantage of the shift.
That is it for Alex Claudio. So Jeff Bannister out, wanted him to face the left-hander. Now goes to the right-hander. Leclerc coming on. Mike Trout coming up. It's a three-run game, but Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, Andrelton Simmons, the men do. One out here in the bottom of the eighth inning, and a three-run game.
And I think really safe to say as we see Jose Leclerc come in here and the great job that he has done. The 5 strikeouts to no walks, just that one base hit, the 0.77 batting average. But safe to say, it's the biggest part of the game. Got a runner on base, already in scoring position. It's Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, like you mentioned, middle of the lineup. So do you go to one of your best arms right now? A little less experience maybe than that you want, but Jose Leclerc has earned this. He's done a really nice job, and it'll be interesting to see if he uses that little cut changeup here to Mike Trout. You know, he's kind of put on the map here where he cuts that changeup away from right-handed hitters. It's been pretty fascinating to watch. Very unconventional.
Well, he's got Calhoun at second. Gives him a look. And he rushes it past Trout for strike one.
And how about Mike Trout coming out hacking early? First pitch, we've seen that from him. This is pretty fascinating. Go back to 2015. He hit 192 on the first pitch of the at-bat. Last year, 613 batting average against on the first pitch. He has gotten much more aggressive early in the count. We're seeing that so far this year as well now, 1 for 4, but more importantly, just getting after it.
But a guy he's never seen before. That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. In the dirt, did he go? Yes, he did. Plate umpire Stu Sherwater didn't need any help to count 0-2.
Well, I
understand it if you've seen a guy's fastball before, but he's never faced Leclerc.
Yeah, as we see this here real quick with Mike Trout, you see that front of that bat absolutely go around, not even close. I think what guys will do, listen, do your homework, you watch as much video as you can, and if you see a trend and say, listen, see a fastball, get after it because he's got a good breaking ball and he's got a good changeup. My guess with Mike Trout and the new approach going back to last year, he saw a fastball, he wasn't going to wait around.
Got to be a changeup coming here, right?
Something out of the strike zone.
0-2. And he got him swinging. So he strikes out Trout on 3 pitches. That's a huge out for Leclerc.
Boy, he made that look easy, didn't he? And now what gets really hard for us when we're watching him, until you see it in slow motion, you're not sure if it's a slider or if it's the changeup, because it has very similar action. The velocities are not that far apart when he does that. And again, even going back to how pitchers are classified with the algorithms and the websites that you find and everything else, they'll get it wrong a lot as well. But at 85 miles an hour, kind of guessing, but I think that was the changeup. 50-50. I flipped the coin right there. I'm not even sure. It's really hard to tell because the changeup and the slider do almost the same thing.
Pujols going after the first pitch, and he pops it up into center. Gomez is there, inning over. How about that job by the young man? 23 years old, Jose Leclerc, dealing in the 8th. We go to the 9th inning.
Winning combination, and thinking about Elvis Andrus and what he has done the last 2 nights, combining for 2 home runs. The first time we've seen him do this in back-to-back games in his career. Elvis Andrus, all the conversation about these great shortstops around baseball right now. Elvis Andrus saying, don't forget about me. We know he has as much fun as anybody else in the league, but he's also swinging the bat really well right now. He doesn't want to hear about Carlos Correa and Francisco Lindor and Xander Bogaerts. Do not forget about Elvis Andrus, who has gotten off to a great start. That's why he is part of our State Farm winning combination. You say it's a combination, it's got to be 2 things. What is it? It's a home run last night, and it's a home run tonight. We're putting those together, and that is my Emily Jones invitation.
You're combining 2 home runs?
That's
right.
Your
combination?
That's right. Hey, listen, obviously, pretty obvious I cannot do the job that she can do, and I can't do it well, but that's the best I can come up with.
I mean, Emily, she'll get a little esoteric. She'll bring in something from the outside, plus what's on it. You just went with 2 at-bats.
Yeah, I'm limited. I'm stuck in this seat right now. Limited in what I can do.
You know what, though? I'm proud of you.
I know my limits.
I thought that was good. I like it. Top of the order here with the 9th. A 3-run lead. Carlos Gomez leading it off, and he shows bunt, and he drops it first base side. Picked up and tagged out. Crone, really nice job to get to that one. You can tell off the bat it may be just a bit too hard by Gomez.
Without a doubt. Or if you could have put that off of the first base line just a little bit more, he would have had a pretty good chance. He ended up squaring this ball up a little bit harder than he wanted to on the bunt, trying to push it. And ideally, when you do this right, you basically get the first baseman and the second baseman kind of converging and going off the ball. And if you have the first baseman far enough off the line with the speed that Carlos Gomez has, he's going to be able to beat that out. So it's not a bad idea at all, trying to catch the Angels off guard a little bit, but just a little bit too hard and a little bit too close to the line.
Well, here's 2, 1 for 4, and he hits one sharply on the ground. The shortstop Simmons on the second base side of the bag makes the play. 2 gone. All right, Tony Barnett readying himself for the 9th inning.
What do you make of that? For us, we put that down as a 6-3.
Yeah.
Routine ground ball to second base. That is right at the second base position. So it ends up kind of being misleading.
It is
right?
a little misleading, right?
I think it would be surprised if some point we're going to get to the point with all these shifts that it's going to be more what section of the field it was hit to, and that's going to count as a number as opposed to actually calling that a ground out to short.
Right. So when you score it, you just call that a 4-3.
Yeah, it should be.
For sometimes you get caught sleeping up here, and you might not even notice. And
Not me, Dave.
And you'd even say like, "Oh, Espinosa right there."
I don't sleep in the booth, Dave. You speak for yourself. See what I did there? Kind of tying to the promo that we do once in a while for that FS1 show. Did you hear what I said?
The sleeping?
You sleeping again? No, I said speak for yourself.
Oh. Really?
I'm a Fox man through and through, buddy.
You might want to focus your creative abilities. Yeah, just stay in your lane a little bit.
Hasn't been my best thing.
2 gone and a 1-1 count on Mazzara. And he swings over the top of that one for strike 2. Mike Morin on a relief in this 9th inning. I am Dave Raymond, trying to control C.J. Nitkowski here from Angel Stadium in Anaheim. I'm responsible for 3+ hours a day, and that's all I can handle.
Doing our best. Late here, right? We get used to being in Central Time, or for me, even East Coast time. And so you got to caffeinate to get through these late games sometimes on the West Coast.
Seriously, who manages you the rest of the day? You know,
me?
the waking hours when I'm not in charge.
Well, when I'm on the road, I have to handle it myself. And then, unfortunately, for my wife of 17 years, she has the duties the rest of the way.
Goodness gracious.
It's been a long 17 years for her, I'm sure.
2-2 to Mazzara. And he shoots it by third base. That's a single. Takes a big turn, but he'll hold first. And a base hit for Nomar Mazzara. Hey, and look, that's a big one for him. He was 0 for 3 with a walk tonight.
Really nice. And listen, even the at-bat before where he had a walk, you'll take that walk as well. It's still a productive at-bat. But this is what Nomar Mazzara has been doing so well. And I know we did it last year as well, but it's been more impressive to see this again in his second year. Not trying to do too much, not trying to get too big, taking what the pitcher gives you. An off-speed pitch that is on the outside part of the plate. You try to pull that ball, it is going to be a ground ball somewhere in the infield. Keeps the head down, just knocks it the other way.
All right, Napoli is homered tonight. 1 for 3 with a walk.
Quick correction before I get myself
Yeah.
in trouble. I've been married for 18 years. Sorry. It's past midnight on the East Coast. I think I'm safe, but just in case.
Bartender. 1-0 to Napoli, and it's 1-1. 3 more home runs tonight for the Rangers. They lead the American League in at least tied momentarily with the Mets for the most in baseball, 16 this year. Los Angeles with one of those tonight. He may have detailed at this point all 3 he has this season down in that dugout. 1-1 to count on Napoli. It's a bit more of a breeze early in the game that was blowing out toward left field. It has died down. Very calm at the moment. Strike 2. Actually, the Mets did get a home run tonight. Conforto hit it out, so I believe that gives him 17 for the year, which puts him one ahead. Let's see the Rangers.
I guess that 16 actually included them from earlier tonight. Chance here for Mike Napoli to put the Rangers in the lead.
Bounces it foul. The count stays 1-2. This was Napoli's second inning.
This was an impressive one. These are the kind of swings that tell you a guy's starting to get locked in. You look for a guy that maybe has been a little bit cold. You mentioned the batting average for Mike Napoli coming in tonight at 148, but when you see that kind of at bat, comfortable going the other way. I know I mentioned it with Mazzara as well, but it does tell you a lot about the swing, especially when you see it for power. maybe Mike Napoli's getting ready to heat up a little bit.
1-2 pitch, and he tomahawks it foul.
It's not even about always, I think there's a little bit of a misconception as well. And say, okay, well, guys hitting the ball the other way. It's not even necessarily about hitting the ball the other way, but the approach of thinking the other way. Why they want you to do it is because it keeps you on the ball longer. It does not mean you're always going to hit the ball to the opposite field, but when you have that approach, you're just closed a little bit longer. You're seeing the ball a little better. You're not pulling off, not hitting the top half of the ball. It does not mean that Mike Napoli has to hit the ball the other way, but it just tells you that his swing is in the right place and the timing is really good.
Mazara with a 2-out single at first. Warren's 1-2 pitch bounces up there, and that'll square it at 2-2. Now the last of the 9th inning, by the way, will be Edelton Simmons, Ben Revere, C.J. Cron, Dew. And we'll see if all three of them come to the plate, or if Mike Scioscia goes to his bench for a pinch hitter or two against that man, Tony Barnett, getting ready. Feel very deep on Mike Napoli. Bouncer through into left field, base hit. How about that? There wasn't a lot of room on that left side of the infield. 3 infielders over there, but he sneaks it through.
And not only 3 infielders, but a very good one, and one of the best that we talked about, Anderson Simmons, and his ability to cover ground, but this was hit in a perfect spot. Mike Napoli hit it pretty hard as well, even though it was on the ground. And no chance for Simmons, no chance for Escobar. A couple of hits now tonight for Mike Napoli to go along with the intentional walk.
So the inning continues, and here comes Rougned Odor. Odor 0 for 4 tonight. Just glancing through my book, yeah, he's the only Ranger without a hit in tonight's game. 6 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Rangers. They've stranded 6 so far, and Warren looks back at Mazara. Warren, by the way, very deliberate between pitches.
Pace has been a little bit slow. Now, I don't know why he would be worried about Mazara necessarily. He's not going to go anywhere in this situation. Think about, yeah, you want to be careful on the secondary lead and making it a little bit more difficult for him to potentially score on a base hit, but he's not stealing base.
Odor looking for the expressor, got the local. 0-1 the count. 3 runs, only 5 hits tonight for the Angels. No errors, and they have stranded 4. Hat tip again, A.J. Griffin, 6 strong innings tonight. Bullpen's been good. Odor takes one of the dirt, bounces away from Maldonado, but nobody moving. How about the effort today from Jose Leclerc? Coming in out of the bullpen with a man in scoring position. He strikes out Mike Trout. 3 pitches nonetheless. I think it's Pujols to fly out to center field. 4 pitch, 2 outs. Nice job in a high leverage spot for the kid.
It's been so fun to watch him, for a couple of different reasons. One, it's early, yes, and you don't want to get too caught up in it, but he's done a really nice job of not walking guys and throwing strikes. That was, you look at him, you look at the history, and say, is this potentially going to be a problem? That's one. Number 2, opportunity has knocked here. There's been a huge need in the bullpen, and so far he's answered it. You can't help but root for a guy to see him overcome some struggles with control and then also answer the bell in big situations.
Odor hits this one out to the gap right center field, coming on for Calhoun, and he gets by him. 1 run is in. They're going to go ahead and send Napoli. The throw's up the line. 2-run score. Odor with a triple, and the Rangers tack on some big insurance runs in the 9th. They'll score a double and give Odor the extra base on the throw. So it's just a double for Odor, but 2 RBIs.
He'll take it either way. As a pitch trying to go down her way. Didn't miss the spot by much. Rougned Odor was all over it. Did a nice job getting this ball in the gap. Again, Cole Calhoun, a tremendous effort to try to turn that into an out. take that chance in that situation with 2 outs. Nomar scores easily. Mike Napoli, not as easily as he's busting it around third, but he gets in there without a slide, and 2 additional runs here. Ones I think Jeff Bannister is certainly happy to see come across.
Now Lucroy swings and misses at strike 1. So all this happening with 2 outs. Warren got Gomez and Chu to ground out, but then the single to Mazzara, the base hit to Napoli, and now Odor with the double. A 5-run lead in the 9th inning. One on one the count. Does that change your thinking at all for the 9th inning now with Tony Barnett?
It does not. Now, as good as Jose Leclerc threw, if you already told him that he was out, you can't change it.
No going back.
You can't. No, you cannot do that to any player, but especially to a young pitcher, in my opinion. Now, if you weren't sure, then you don't tell him. You don't tell him that he's out of the game. But if they already told him you're done and Tony Barnett is in, then it's Tony or it's somebody else, but it's not Jose. Because what happens is, the adrenaline is up. Big outs right there, right? Big outs against Mike Trout and Albert Pujols, and there's a letdown once you're told you're out of the game. There's kind of this adrenaline drop, and it's really difficult to try to crank it back up. So if they already told him that he was done, for me, under no circumstances do you put him back out there. Now it could switch to somebody else in the bullpen if you wanted to do it that way. You say, okay, well, it's Tony Barnett only if it's a 3-run lead, which I don't think is necessarily the situation that the Rangers are in right now. But you do see that sometimes where teams will treat their closer and you call down, you say, all right, he's got it, but we score, he runs, or a couple of guys get on, you call down there and say, it'll be this guy instead if it's a non-save situation.
2-2 pitch, and Lucroy spoils this one. He'll learn another one, so no mulligans.
But like I said, that doesn't apply here, because Tony Barnett's not the closer right now on this team, right? Maybe he was going to close in this situation, but you have Alvarez, you have Hauschild down there. For me, if you told Leclerc he was done, those are your only options, those three guys right there.
Barnett threw yesterday. He pitched the 8th inning, gave up a run on a couple of hits. Bouncer left side of the infield. Handled cleanly by Escobar. The inning is over, but the Rangers add 2 more runs on 3 hits, including a double from Rougned Odor, making sure that every Ranger has at least 1 hit tonight. All right, they took the mulligan. I told you.
Well, no, remember, I qualified that by saying only if they told him he was out. For me, they did not tell him he was
we
done.
don't know that.
Yeah, and I would be shocked if it went any other way. So Jose Leclerc will get a chance to finish out this game. And not only that, but for him, because he came in the game with a 3-run lead, it's still a safe situation, even though it's a 5-run lead now.
Well, he's got Andrelton Simmons to start things off in this 9th inning. He only threw 4 pitches to get 2 outs in the 8th. And it's 1-1 on Simmons.
You remember 2003 in the postseason, that whole deal with Pedro Martinez and Grady Little, and gave him a hug. He thought he was out of the game, right?
Yep.
Sent him back out there, and even Pedro laid an egg in that situation because he thought he was done, and the emotion, you just come down. All of a sudden, someone tells you to get back up. It can be a challenge.
1-1. Did he go? They want an appeal. No, he did not. All right. They've changed the scoring, and it is a triple for Rougned Odor.
Oh, don't doubt Dave Raymond. They should have known better.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of think they both have merit, right? both scoring decisions. I think you can defend both. But I think the double and third base on the throw is probably more defensible. Ground ball up the middle by Simmons.
Yeah, listen, I think it could have went either way for Odor in that situation. What you have to look at if they go back and look at the replay is whether or not he slowed down at all. It's a fastball that was left up over the plate here. Now we're going to see Tony Barnett start to get up. Doug Brocail come out. Things a little bit tighter than usual for the Rangers because of the recent history. I think in most circumstances, Doug Brocail probably not going out there after the first guy gets on with a 5-run lead. So it's a combination of giving Tony a little bit of time maybe to get ready, but just thinking about what he wants to tell Jose in this situation.
Yeah, see how he works around this leadoff single now. He gets a left-hander, Ben Revere, who doubled earlier tonight, 1 for 3. Kirk starts him off away.
Now, it's a good opportunity for the ground ball. It does not necessarily mean a good opportunity for the double play. Ben Revere runs very well. He's also coming out of the left-handed batter's box, but at this point for Jose Leclerc, it's just about at least getting that one out.
1-1 to count. I think there are only like 3 guys on this Angels team who have not hit into a double play already this year, and Revere is one of them. They've hit into 11 double plays. This is just the 9th game of the year for the Angels. So they have been victimized by double play with a certain amount of regularity so far. Simmons off first base. Bluffs, and the 1-1 pitch. Grounder to the right side, but only one play here, and that is to get the out at first. Simmons out there to second base with 1 out.
It's a good job. You'll take that. Part of understanding how to be a good relief pitcher is understanding what is important in having your priorities straight. And I remember learning this earlier in my career when a veteran had said to me, knowing when it's okay to let up a run, right? I'm thinking it's never okay to let up a run, never okay to let up a hit. But in this situation, what matters is the guys at the plate. And it's a 5-run lead, and for some reason Andrelton Simmons were to come around and score, it means nothing. What matters is what just happened there. Get the guys out at the plate, make good pitches. Don't let the runners distract you when you have a 5-run lead in the 9th inning.
CJ Cron pops up the first pitch. Playable near home plate. Lucroy, nicely done. Wow.
Man, you could see that coming right there. First of all, that's a monster pop-up that is straight up for Jonathan Lucroy. Not an easy play. He did not toss the second part of his mask, the front part of his mask, very far away, right? Catchers are taught, you find the ball. Watch Jonathan Lucroy right here. Didn't know where it is, got to get some help. But usually you toss that mask a little bit further. But watch his right foot. Almost steps right on that and trips over it. That could have been a little bit of a disaster. Usually you see your catcher toss that mask much further than Jonathan Lucroy did.
Well, and usually they wait till the very last minute. You hold on to it as long as you can. Once you're underneath, now you throw it away. But he got rid of it immediately, and it almost cost him. 2 gone, though. Simmons still at second, and here is Danny Espinosa. 0 for 2 with a sac fly.
I'm sure Jonathan would look at both of us and say, how many pop-ups from the catcher position have you two knuckleheads caught? The answer would be
no
0,
chance.
but he got it done. But yeah, it makes you a little bit nervous when you see that, especially from our view. We can kind of see that play starting to develop.
0-1 the count on Espinosa. I'm still intrigued by how so many of these Angels hitters have come out and they're gearing up on the very first pitch they've seen from a guy they've never faced.
It's all in the scouting report, and it's the conversation that is had that says this guy's good at finishing you once he gets ahead. If you see a fastball early, you're going to want to jump on it, my guess, based on what we've seen so far in the approach. And you got guys that hack. Danny Espinosa hacks. He's not going to sit around. He's going to get that bat off his shoulders, and he's going to let it fly.
That one poured in for a strike. The count 0-2.
23 saves for Jose Leclerc at the minor league level over the course of his career. He also has 1 in winter ball, playing for the Gigantes in the Dominican Republic, my former team in the Dominican Republic. San Francisco de Macorís. Chance now here for his first big league save.
Is that a team you haven't played for?
A couple.
2-strike pitch. Look out. Espinosa. Jackknife trying to get out of the way of that one. It's 1-2. Man.
Now this was a changeup that he pulled, trying to throw it below the zone. He did, but he yanked it just a little bit too much. I'll tell you what, if you could throw that pitch out, the changeup that fades away from the lefty right here, something down off the plate. Again, Danny Espinosa will go hacking. Jose Leclerc got to play into that weakness of his right now to try to finish this game.
Got him swinging. Leclerc with his first career save. It's an 8-3 win for the Rangers as Jose Leclerc comes on and gets the final 5 tonight. What a performance by that young man.
A lot of fun to watch, and like I said, easy to root for. There has been an opportunity here with the Texas Rangers in the bullpen. You're looking for guys to step up and finish it off and step up into the role. And there it was, the changeup, just like I mentioned, down below the zone, taking advantage of the aggressive swinger. Trusting your catcher as well for a young Jose Leclerc. And he has done a fantastic job here so far in 2017.
Great bounce back effort today by the Rangers. They have evened this series at a win apiece with a rubber game tomorrow. I want to warn you, a lot coming up here on the post-game show. John Radigan, Mark McLemore, Mike Bassick back in the studios. We'll have interviews, all sorts of breakdown of today's game, stats.